the silent night, an endless fall, like cuts from 1,000 knives. I hear you call, but I'm still stumbling in the dark, a silent howl as I dissolve into your arms. I waited now, seduced
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the OOR it's not Simric Sprint Series. What have we got that up there for? It's the Duo Series with Indianapolis tonight. And it's looking a bit overcast there, but we're right at the end of quali. We've got about 8 minutes to go. And I am one of your talented bunch with dazzling good looks, apparently. Glenn Germain speaking. And with me I have Bruno Ellis. G'day, Bruno.
Alright, how's it going?
Good. We're getting there. Takes a while. Some nights harder than others to get things rolling. But yeah, let me just switch up our screen, and we have Hobbsy currently on pole. And he's just gone out for another lap, I believe. Let me have a look. Yes, he has. He's trying to get one more in before, or maybe two more in before the end of quali. He's up by 3.5, or nearly 4 tenths on the Sonicus brothers.
Top 7 drivers within the seconds, and I've just been an incredible time. Hasn't been able to top that as far as I can tell thus far, but all tends to the next car back, and it looks like Sonicus in the pits at the moment, maybe just changing the setup a little bit, just looking for that last quick run. Good attempts for quali. As we see Hobbs start another lap, see if he can improve here, but a 34.6 is a good list during one time, so I think he should be really proud of that. Judging by how long they sat in the pits a little earlier, I reckon he's pretty happy with that lap as well.
Yeah, he's going to be pushing it to beat that, but probably a bit of track improvement as the session's gone on. So you never know, he might sneak another tenth and a half in there.
Yeah, always possible. Sometimes it just comes out of the blue as well. You're just like, wow, where did I find those 2 tenths? Yeah. Herod also about a tenth and a bit off of the Sonicus brothers, so don't count him out here. Just nabbed that P2 at the end of qualifying here.
He's down a couple of tenths at the moment.
Unfortunately, crucial corner that one there, because it's the second longest straight at Indianapolis here. It's a really difficult one to get right, because you want to go as early as possible, obviously, but it's very easy to run wide. You see the Ferrari there just run wide for a little bit of that T10. Another difficult one, those S's. Watch out at the end of the stint for those S's, the tyres like to get up through there. So definitely a very technical track, the Indianapolis circuit.
Yes, I've not done that many laps on it, but the surface seems a bit slippy, if I can use a technical term.
Yeah, 100%. There's a lot of corners, a lot of direction changing as well. The rear just doesn't like to hold you through. Not to mention, as we see a bit of a jump over the curve, as I was just about to mention, there are a couple of sausages on the inside of the corners that if you just touch a little bit, as we see there, the suspension does not like it. You just go for a bit of a trampoline session.
Always fun on a Saturday night.
Of course. It looks like, in the meantime, as we were speaking, Hobbs has just improved. It's minute, about 15 thousandths of a second, but it all counts. Currently, just over a tenth up, pushing the absolute limits of that Audi the last minute and a half here of qualifying. Get one more lap in, and we'll see what he can do.
Page has also gone out. I think he's just on his out lap. Yep, hasn't started his hot lap yet. We'll keep an eye on him, because really it's going to be tough for anyone else to to bridge the gap to Hobbsy, that's for sure.
Yeah, 100%. 4/10 is no small gap, especially when you've got really one lap under pressure here. So Sonicus going out for that last lap is it's only going to come around one more time. So it'd be awesome to see him take pole in the last lap, but something's telling me that might just be out of reach. Further down the field is very close. We only got 4 drivers from 7th down to 11th, but within about a 10th of each other. So might see a bit of a shake-up at the bottom end of the top 10. It's always difficult to put in a lap under pressure.
Yes.
Getting a little impeded here by the Ferrari. Unfortunately, yeah, he's going to have to bail on the lap and he's not going to have time to get another one, so I'll just pull across here.
Yeah, flip over the page and see how he's going.
Yeah, he's going to close over just GG's.
Yeah. Oh, now that's not the way you're going to get a good lap page. Yeah, and he's pulled the plug.
Yeah, bails. P2 still a very respectable effort, especially with Hobbs out in front. He did pretty well to pick him, I reckon. Brendan Paul here, fraction down his current personal best here. Needs just over 2/10 to take P3 in quali here. So needs a stellar last sector, I reckon.
Seems to be having troubles bettering their earlier times. It was interesting because the first part of quali was done in with quite a lot of overcast skies. And sun's come out for the end and probably heated up that track a little bit, taken the edge off. Yep, Paulie's not going to beat that. Just having a look down. Brad Cook. No, he's not going to improve on his lap either. Most of the drivers are in the pits. We've only got a couple out, I think. Paulie's finished. And we're done. That's it for quali.
Yeah, I don't know if you caught that at the end there, but it looked like P9 and P10 had the exact same lap time, which is quite cool.
Yes, as they say, that never happens, except it does happen all the time. Alright, so let me get something switched around here. Who's your pick for tonight, Bruno?
Oh, I mean, can't go past Hobbsy, I reckon. Don't count Sonicus, the Sonicus brothers out either. If Hobbs, his teammate, I'm not 100% sure who that is, unfortunately, but if they step a foot wrong, the Sonicuses are definitely going to be there to pick up the pieces.
Yeah, for sure.
Looks like the 277 Aston has swapped drivers, I believe, so it looks like Chris Cooley is starting the race. Incredibly quick driver is Chris Cooley, so might be able to gain some scraps here off the start, maybe jump off position or two.
Just I might have a quick look down the grid. Around and have a look. And in the meantime, I will actually change this. Keyboard. Glenn's having a good night tonight. Let's try that again. So they've got Hobbsy on pole. Is that a bit of an homage to the movie? Yeah, Sonicus, Snickers bar, Cooley in 3, Tonkin in 4, Dreyer 5, Brindlecombe in 6. Okay. Got Vintner, Cook, Gadam, Rochford, and so much for adjustments. Let's just give up that idea. Have a look from the top.
We got the top 10. Yeah, as they come around here for the formation lap.
Control a bit of a kick. As you may tell, given that I'm on the commentary at the moment, we're a bit short of people tonight. Everyone is out there and having a great old time, including pretty much all our commentary team. So apologies to the crew on YouTube and Twitch. You're stuck with me. Not for long though, because we'll have some better commentators coming on later to join Bruno. And that's working. Okay, very good. We are professional here. So how you doing, chat? Enjoying your Saturday night? Got a quiet beverage? Let us know what you're into.
Chuck your bold predictions in the chat as well.
Yeah, please do.
So we're getting the grid forming up here. Just approaching the start line. We shall be away in under 30 seconds for round 2 of the USA Duo Series. And there's the green flag and they're away. Mitch Hobbs gets a pretty good start there. Just covers off Sonicus. Is pretty happy to go to the outside here and just take the racing line. Doesn't reckon anybody's going to dive him up the inside. They all form up pretty well. We've got Brendan Pauly on the outside, which will switch to the inside here, but Cooley manages to hold it around the outside. Sorry, that is Herod in the Aston, not Cooley. Everybody holding position pretty well.
No yellow flags at the moment at the rear. I've been keeping an eye on that.
I was going to say I didn't want to commentator's curse it, so I'm not going to mention it, but we'll see. Been pretty clean thus far. Archie there, 20-pound McLaren. So the NSX goes around the outside of Lamborghini here, up into 6 potentially. Coming through the S's for the first time. You can see how the other cars handle that, because as the tyres start to degrade, that's going to be a tricky corner, I reckon. The cars are not going to, like the rear tyres are not going to love the S's. Unfortunately, it looks like Pauly in the 69 Lamborghini has led a position into Brad Cook off the start. So we'll see if he has a bit of a reply. I know the Lambo does liven up when you burn off a bit of the fuel. Obviously, these guys are probably going to fill up the tank. Just fill up the tank and go as long as they can. I'm not sure if there's stint timers tonight.
No, there's no stint. I can fill you in on all that. No stint timer. There's a 60% limit for any one driver, so one driver can be in the car for 108 minutes maximum. So there's no stint timers and there are no mandatory stops. It's all up to the teams as to how they manage tyres and fuel for this evening, and that worked pretty well at Watkins. A lot of good feedback, a bit of tactics having to be figured out by the teams, and something different to what we normally do with compulsory stops in our sprint events. So yeah, it's opens up the door to some weird and wonderful and wacky options.
Yeah, it's always good to bring strategy into these. It can get a bit boring when it's basically just like go for an hour, fuel up a bit, or fuel up 90% of the tank, and whack on some new tyres, just go again for another hour, rinse and repeat. It does bring in a bit more strategy into it. So obviously the Ferrari is pretty good on fuel. So at the Bathurst 12 hour, which was the last endurance event for OOR that I participated in, we could go about an extra 7 or so laps over some of the other cars. And the tyre wear was also pretty good as well, so it brings in that strategy. So over the course of 12 hours, you can almost eliminate 2 pit stops by just pushing out each stint. So it does bring in some strategy there, which is cool.
Seeing Damiano Circolini all over the back of Sean Brindlecombe and pushing his way up the inside there.
Yeah, we'll see if he can sweep around the outside, because we've got the hairpin coming up onto the back straight.
He's been pushed. He's in danger of losing his position.
Yeah, I think the Ferrari's just snuck past. He's going to have the inside yet. Porsche's going to have to tuck back in, but he does jink to the inside here. We might see a move into the left-hander here. No, I think Spreader Robert just tucks behind. He's got the Porsche of, I believe there's Ventina as well. So, or for Canalini, really just bled a couple of positions there. It's really tough off the start, because if you go too aggressive and then a move just doesn't you can't pull it off in time. You lose more than you gain in some situations, and it looks like that's what's happened to the 66 Porsche just here.
Yeah, absolutely. He just got off the racing line slightly, and he was out of position for those next few corners after he had pushed up the inside on Brindlecombe there earlier.
Yeah. Almost clips the grass there coming around the final corner. Has a bit of a gap to the Aston behind, so hopefully he can settle himself here and set up another attack on the drivers ahead.
It could have been a completely different story if he'd been able to clear Brindlecombe with that first move.
Yeah, there's a bit of a gap there. Brindlecombe about 5 seconds behind our Dreyer in the 70 McLaren and P6 just ahead. So if he could get past. So a bit of clean air there, and everybody knows that clean air breeds good laps, so definitely Indy, not the hardest track to follow somebody through, but it's not fun being behind somebody, especially as close as this Ferrari here is on Brindlecombe in the McLaren.
That's Stefano Rasciuti trying to make that move. Sorry.
No, that's all right. Got a nice train forming here, all aboard the Brindlecombe train. A good 7 or so drivers, I think, all the way to P14 on this train. So Hobbsy is just absolutely flying. There's 3 purple laps for him. He just keeps on getting quicker as well. So last lap there, 35.3. Has pulled out almost a 3-second gap to Sonic just behind. He's in the high 35s, so like not a bad lap time by any standard, especially with a full tank, but nothing compared to Hobbs at the moment here. So
Finton down the inside there of Rashidi. He's made that move.
Yeah, it's turn 1.
Just jump up to Cook and Paulie and Drea there.
Yeah, a bit of a battle forming here. All 3 drivers within about a second of each other, or thereabouts.
He's been ebbing and flowing a bit between 2/10 and 5/10 between Cook and Paulie.
Just in the meantime, Ventina is on the charge at the moment. He's just going past Wimbledon. He's absolutely flying at the minute. Unfortunately, they've lost touch with the group ahead. We'll see how much he can gain on Dryer ahead. Now that he's got Kling there, we'll see if that gap stays the same or if it closes down, because like Ventina is not mucking around here. He's gained 2 positions, I reckon, in the same lap almost. So yeah, we'll see if we do have a yellow flag just in the third to last corner there. There's a couple of cars off.
Damiano has had a spin, unfortunately. I don't know if he was helped.
Potentially, I think I saw about 4 or 5 yellows on my race control, my timing chart. So I might be able to get a replay of that at some point. But yeah, a couple of drivers probably a little bit further back after that than I'd hope, especially this early into the race. We're barely 10 minutes in. But up until that point, it was looking pretty clean.
Go hunting for a replay with you as soon as I can.
Yeah, as we said that, so Ventina is ever so slightly faster than Dryer. He's just done a personal best. Oh, so Carl Johnson, 15-second penalty for causing a collision on lap 1. So I think I may have missed that. I don't remember seeing any yellows, but maybe that's just ACC being a little bit funny, as it does sometimes. Not calling the yellows properly, but that's going to be a bit of setback for them. They're looking pretty good. I think they're in the top 10 in qualifying, if I'm not mistaken. As another purple lap comes through for Mitch Hobbs. He is on a mad charge. As I say though, the gap to Sunacus has opened up another second. It's just over 4 at the moment. So yeah, definitely on the charge here. We'll see how those tyres hold up. I know the McLaren's pretty good on the tyres. I'm not 100% sure on the Audi. And obviously fuel consumption as well. 2 cars that I haven't driven a whole lot. As looks like we've got the replay up here.
We do.
What's happened here? I reckon we just got a little bit of a shunt here from the McLaren behind. Or does he go up the inside with... Oh, vortex of danger there a little bit. That's touch unfortunate. And the Constantina there, a couple of cars behind, just get bunched up a little bit. Probably got a couple of seconds of damage for those guys as well, which is a bit unfortunate. And the Porsche there...
Stuck waiting for the whole field to go by.
Yeah, that's... I can tell you how frustrating that is. You just have to watch everybody go by. You just want to plant your foot, just get back in the race, but you just got to wait there. Yeah, it's a frustrating feeling. We've just got Glenn Taylor in the chat saying commentary is very quiet. So thank you very much for that feedback there. We can just get ourselves turned up, really cool.
Track. wheels are.
And we see Brendan Pauly in the Lamborghini. They're looking for a move down the inside on Brad Cook into turn 1, just filling the mirrors there a little bit. Thinks better of it, so backs out, but he was right on the back of that Honda coming down at the pit straight. And now that's opened up the door for dry behind. He's just caught up a little bit. He wasn't in touch with these guys ahead. And it's interesting. You just go offline a little bit, just into one corner, and the gap opens up. So again, looks like Indy's one of those tracks where you really got to commit to the move. You can't sort of, half cook it, you know.
Yeah, for sure. Just have a look. I think we should have improved things a little bit, I think, for everyone. If you can let us know in the chat whether we're sounding any better now. Or maybe not better, but louder. Now, let's see what's... Sorry, go ahead. No, I was just going to flick to the top of the table to see Hobbsy is, what, 4 seconds now in the lead. Virtually more than half the length of the straight.
Yeah, he's on a mad charge. Sonicus has found a bit of pace there, so a 35.7 for Sonicus compared to a 35.6 for Hobbs. So the pace is definitely starting to even up a little bit here between these two guys, but obviously Hobbs has pulled that gap up to 5 seconds now, but that might just be because of the braking zone. As we see, car 173 gets a 15-second penalty for collision on that fly. I have a feeling that may have been the McLaren that we just got rid of earlier. But I was going to mention earlier that Mr. Pignata in the 818 Nissan up 15 position, actually 16 I believe at the moment. So started P31. So either they didn't jump in quali in time or they plan to start from the back. But I reckon he's another one to look out for as well because, Matthew Pignata, incredibly quick driver. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see him in the top 5, if not the podium, by the end of the 3 hours.
Was that 173 you said? Was the car number with the with that latest penalty? I didn't see a 173.
No, neither do I. I must have read it wrong. But I'm almost certain that it was the McLaren, McLaren's contact on the portion to that third to last corner.
Yep.
That we got the replay
Makes sense. Yep. Alright, so Hobbsy's got 4 seconds. Page has got 6 seconds on Herod, who's got 4 seconds on Cookie. So let's go. Let's go.
4 pretty spaced out at the moment.
Yeah, so let's go and have a look and see what's happening. These three have been at it for a few laps now. Pretty much holding station though.
Yeah, the gap's like it's fluctuating up and down, but no real moves being put on. So guys, I reckon we'll see this scrap happen for a little while longer.
Just
a little
jump
bit further down the field. Yeah, I was just going to say Scanlon here, touch behind Brendel.
We're on McAdam, who's right behind Carl Johnson.
So they're on Aston. Oh, that's good. So
Must have
Mason
been.
Chat is just saying it's definitely better now, referring to the commentary levels, so it's good.
Excellent. Good to hear. Thanks. Both of these guys, so it must have been 183. I reckon it was a typo from our wonderful stewarding team. It's not 173, 183.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I think it keeps all the time.
Yeah, our stewards do a great job. Most under-thanked job in our league, I reckon.
Yeah, 100%. It's definitely, it's almost like umpiring. Like you always cop a bit of flack for it, but somebody has to do it. And the stewarding team is great. They're very consistent, make the right calls, as far as I'm aware. So yeah. And Matthew Bowles, another 88 10-second penalty for dangerous driving on lap 4. So yeah, that's always an interesting one, dangerous driving there. But that's going to be a little bit of a setback for him. Who looks like they're P2 in the amateur class at the moment. So
Yeah, unfortunately our classes are not 100% correct this evening, so I'm not putting too much weight on them at present, unfortunately. I can check that manually, but yeah, what's happening there?
yeah, so we just got confirmation from Ben, I believe, in the chat saying, yeah, we're supposed to be running 3.
Yep,
It's
cool.
all good. It happens. Looking down the field from P16 back, we've got a bit of a train forming here. So down in P20, there's Rob Maddox, who is a very quick driver. So P20 is definitely out of position there, so I think we might see a bit of a charge here. Just trying to get back through the field. I have a feeling he may have been involved a touch in that yellow flag scenario a couple laps back.
Is that flashing a little bit for you?
Yeah, that's it.
To switch screens. Not exactly sure what's happening. Give me a minute. Swap. Try this PC here. It's always good juggling keyboards and mice and whatever. Now, we're looking down at Mr. Maddox, weren't we?
Yeah, so we'll see how he gets back through the field, because yeah, as I was saying, definitely out of position. P20 is definitely not where he'll be pace-wise. So as I was saying, yeah, when we had got caught up a little bit in that yellow flag incident a couple of laps ago, but that's a cool livery. I like the KFC McLaren there. Just sweeps around the outside there. McLaren's immediately under fire from the AMG here, so we'll see if there's a move into the first corner here, because it looks like he might just have the run. No, doesn't even feel the mirrors, so yeah, wasn't looking for a move there. Maybe he just wants to tuck in. Oh, here we go. No, can't, yeah. Line's difficult to go around the outside there, but Tony's going to be offline, so he might just be able to sneak away past. I believe that is Barrage and the number 16 Mercedes.
Correct.
Yep, sweet.
Sykes has gone wide.
Yeah, he has to. Might lose 2 positions here just because the overspeed the other ANZ CRL is McLaren's going to have. Oh, going to be interesting here. Oh
yeah,
no.
It's cleared him.
Yeah, completely cleared him. I have a feeling he might have backed off there a little bit, because it looked like he was awfully slow down the straight there, but kept it clean. That's what you want in an endurance race. Losing positions at the start isn't so much of a big deal compared to a sprint. Through the field, the gaps have opened up a little bit. Still a couple close ones on the track. Scanline and Brindlequine are also pretty close. So number 66 Porsche, I believe that is, 15-second penalty for causing a collision on lap 5. So yeah,
I don't know if
again,
that was that.
unfortunately,
Yeah. That was that incident we saw where the Porsche was off to the side, and he had been adjudged to have. Not sure what the situation is with that one. I might go back to lap 5 and see what I can find.
I can't imagine it was, potentially was something else on that lap, potentially on the rejoin, but the stewards have decided, and as far as I'm aware, they've made the correct decision, so a bit of a setback there for the Porsche, the 66 Porsche, but unfortunately that happens sometimes, and they're just going to have to work a little bit harder to gain back those 15 seconds.
Just looking at the current lap times everyone's doing, we've got Hobbs out in front, who's consistently under 136, 135.9, and Peach with a 36.2. And as we go down, then everybody is pretty much in the 37s, except Benny Vintner, whose last lap was a 36.7, and Raschuti was a 36.8. So those guys should be starting to pick up the Cook in front of them if they can keep that pace up.
Yeah, I reckon they've got 14 laps in, they've probably burnt off maybe 30 odd litres, 35, 40 litres. So the cars are going to start lightening up, and the tyres aren't too off. They haven't gone stale just yet. So I reckon we'll see probably not some personal bests, because those obviously the tyres have degraded a little bit, but definitely some quicker lap times coming. I think we might have just missed it, but Brendan Pauly, I think, got past Brad Cook to take P5 overall. And Dreyer was in P6 probably about 5 minutes ago. He's up into P4, so it'll be interesting to see what happened there. Yeah, almost a complete reversal of the positions there.
So Cookie's wouldn't think the tyres would be going off yet, but
No, not
25 minutes. Yeah. Yeah, odd that he's dropped. He's obviously dropped time to the two that have got past him over the last few laps.
Yeah, look at this. Still within touch though. Still within a second of Pauly ahead, but Matthew Bolt, another 15-second penalty for causing a collision this time on lap 11. So that's going to be a major setback for their team, unfortunately. 30 seconds is a long time to serve a pit, sorry.
So that gap between Vintner and Cook, just keep an eye on that, because that's 5 seconds at the moment. I think it was a bit wider than that not long ago.
Yeah, it has dropped down. It's about 6.6, I think, at its maximum. That's just when he got past Raschuti for P7. So it's definitely starting to come down a little bit. Obviously, he's got the clean air, whereas the two guys ahead, pretty close. So might close that gap down a little bit more. Might be fighting for a top 5 position before the first pit stops come around.
Vintner and Raschuti are picking up about 7/10 a lap on the cars in front. So I've got them in sight now anyway, coming down the straight where they were pretty much out of sight before.
Always a nice feeling of slowly catching the car ahead.
I think Rashid's playing it smart too. He's not attacking Vintner. He's just tagging along behind. He knows he's got good pace. He's just sticking with him and being dragged up to the cars in front.
Yeah, 100%.
Good thinking.
And on top of that, the Ferrari's fuel economy is good enough, but sitting in the slipstream as well, it's going to be saving a bit of fuel, so could potentially see the Ferrari go a touch longer and might even get an overcut when the cars are around him. So definitely some smart driving here from Rashidi.
All the other gaps in the field are pretty stable. There's no one really attacking at the moment. I think we're in a bit of a phase of consolidating your position and working towards that first pit stop.
Yeah. There's a couple of drivers that are close to others, but yeah, as you're saying, it's sort of just, yeah, you start smashing out just consistent lap times, getting tired and check and whatnot. See, yeah, Pignata here in P12 at the moment, as I mentioned earlier, it's like P31, so I'm not sure if that was an intentional or not, but definitely keep an eye out on these guys. I'm expecting at least a top 5 from them, I reckon, by the end, all things permitting.
Yeah, best lap of 37.0 and last lap was a 37.2, so not setting the world on fire, but obviously has made good ground on the cars behind by getting past all of those, which was,
Yeah,
they're up what, 19.
Yeah, I'm not sure. There's a yellow flag for the 183 Aston McAdam in turn 2 by the looks of it, so I'm not sure what's happened there, but he's dropped a lot of positions. I think he's either RTG'd or he's just quit.
He's just quit, I think.
Yeah, righto. Had enough, I guess.
He's jumped. He's not really certain.
Be interesting to see what happened there.
Having a little bit of trouble with the replay computer at the moment, but we will try to resolve that.
So there's a dust of smoke there coming out of the third to last corner. I don't see any yellow flags or anybody going slowly, so I don't think the driver might have got away with that one. Extending the track a little bit there. Yellow flag for, I think that's Neil Wood in the 960 Ferrari, just coming out of the right-hander after the S's, so a bit of a setback for him. Unfortunately, he is into 332, which is the last overall at the moment, so we'll see what they can claw back, but yeah, it's a bit unfortunate. They're jumping back all the way to last.
Playing ball at the moment, unfortunately. We'll stick with the system for a little bit. So Paulie and Dreyer have pulled a bit of a gap on Cook. Now 1.2 seconds. Vintner's down to 4.3 behind Cook, so maybe not pulling him in as fast as it was before. And actually Cook was slightly faster in that last lap, so...
Ever so slightly. But I mean, as we see a Ferrari backwards.
What's that? 960. 969.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it looks like he spun around.
Yep. He's got going again.
Yeah, I have a feeling that spin last lap, just at this corner here, the right-hander after the S's, might just heat up the tyres a little bit, and it's very easy, as we saw from Sonicus in qualifying, it's very easy just just have the car over-rotate through that the right-hander onto the back straight there. So I reckon that might have been what's happened. Maybe a little bit of a touch of the brakes through the corners just unsettled the car going around. But,
yeah, you really got to have a light touch on the accelerator, don't you? You can't slam it coming out of that corner because it just the grip is just not there.
No, you got to be very tentative, very progressive on the throttle there. You've almost got to drive it like you don't have traction control. But where's the fun in not planning the accelerator?
Exactly. Even if you do spin, it's good for the views.
He who was last is sideways and smiling.
Let's just go flip back up to P14 and Paul Huddy and Jacob Weatherburn getting a bit friendly.
We'll see how this battle develops. I think these guys have been fairly close since the race start. So I'll be trading blows here. Obviously the Lambo and the Ferrari can have different sectors where they're quick. I reckon the Lambo might just have the upper hand, just being a touch more agile than Ferrari, but obviously the driver has a lot to do with how much it was. A bit of a
wobble
there from Ferrari. Yeah. And Hardy not really able to capitalise on that, so it doesn't look like he lost too much time. Still within that 1 second gap behind. So I reckon we'll monitor this battle and see how it develops over the next 25 or so minutes before we start seeing these guys jump pits. We do also have a bit of a crosswind as well, which might be affecting the turning a touch of the cars.
I have to say I do have trouble figuring out which way the wind's blowing based on our on the wind direction meter.
Yeah, it is pretty tough, especially on TV cam where the car's constantly changing its orientation. Yeah, it looks like it's blowing across from right to left, I believe.
And now it's right behind them.
A bit of a tailwind, and then just blowing across the front of the car as they come down through the back straight here. But 4Ks an hour, I don't think it affects the cars too much. I've noticed. But still, a little interesting thing. It's cool that they've implemented that into the physics engine. Also, Barrage and Bolt pretty close together. I've just been monitoring that gap. It's not gone much above 5/10 the last lap or so.
We'll look at them, see how they're going. Yes, it's been about that 3 or 4 tenths mark for a little while. That's not 3 tenths.
Not there. I'm looking pretty racy here, so obviously looking for a way past. Oh, just has to back off the throttle there, but otherwise I think he might have got the run onto the pit straight here. AMG pretty good in the straight line, but the McLaren you can run fairly low wing as well, so interesting matchup here I reckon. The AMG being a bit more forgiving over the curve, so if they do make a little bit of a mistake, Barrage in the 16, the number 16,
Oh,
as he goes wide into turn 1 and he just lets the McLaren go through, unfortunately.
that's pressure.
Tough.
That was a bit of pressure build up.
Yeah, that's definitely driving in the mirrors a touch there. I think he was expecting the McLaren to dive up the inside, so he's just almost waiting for it. Just outbraked himself into turn 1 there. And now he's immediately under attack from, is this Sykes behind? Evans, sorry.
Evans
to
Fleming,
1-6,
yeah.
which I think is their sister car, so it's going to be interesting what happens here. Maybe potentially some team orders. But yeah, the McLaren slots in right under the rear wing of the AMG here. So it might pull out, look for a move. Yep. And the AMG's not going to find it, which is fair enough, but now he's going to be a bit offline, off pace here for the Porsche behind, so we'll see how he goes here. If he can hold off the Porsche, allow his sister car to pull off into the sunset. As I've just noticed on the weather radar, we have rain, light rain in 30 minutes. So that could spice things up.
Well, there we go.
Bit of weather, never hurt anybody. But see, that's going to be interesting because that's going to be just after the pit stop window. Ooh, this is exciting.
Yeah, I sort of got overcast before, and then as quickly as it... Oh, just bumped the wall there. As quickly as it was overcast, it was sunshine again, and so I shut my mouth because I was just about to say, with the overcast conditions, oh, we may see some rain, but just pressing a braking point a bit too far, isn't he? Just pushing it a bit far.
Yeah, I think he's just been shaken up a little bit, lost a couple of positions. He's just like, he's trying to regain that focus and that confidence.
Yeah. And
it can be quite tough to do, especially when he's been overtaken. He's immediately had another car behind just to start attacking him. It's happened again here, so I believe that is.
I think that's.
I don't think that's for position.
No, I think that looks like Herod's car, to be honest.
Potentially, so.
No, it's not theirs.
That potentially might be Brad Gosling in the 942. They potentially a lap down on Garage.
No, not them either.
No? Oh, the 183 J McAdam, I believe, who are P33, so looks like they rejoined, so potentially a hardware or internet issue that they had, not so much throwing in the towel, because it looks like they're back out on the track, so.
Yeah, and they're 4 laps down.
Yeah.
5 laps down now, yeah. 4 laps, yep. That explains.
So it is Sykes in the 27 McLaren, who's about 3 seconds behind Garage at this point in time. So he's got a bit of breathing room, bar the Aston just behind, who's looking a bit raced here, looking to unlock himself, I reckon. So
Yes, it'd be best to probably let him go. Just try and get back into his rhythm.
that rain has changed to
heavier.
So yeah, it's going to get a touch over. It's going to start in probably about 20-ish minutes time, 25 minutes time, and then yeah, just increase. So just see, wow. So it looks like Rashuti has decided to use he's done with Mr. Nice Guy, and he's going to push Mintina here for the pass. They definitely gained on Cook. The gap now 3.7 seconds. So they've gained another 6 or so tenths on Cook, sorry. So maybe Rashuti's noticed that, and he's like, all right, I think I'm a bit faster than Ventina here. I'm just going to push for the move and try and chase down Cook.
Yeah, you could well be right. It's the times have dropped back into the 37.3s, 37.4s the last few laps. That's Vintner and Raschuti, whereas they were in the 36.9s, 36.8s for quite a number of laps. So maybe they're just tyre deg, and Rashuti's got more pace at the moment. Might be his turn to take the lead and
push. I reckon the Porsche's tyres are probably starting to go off a little bit now. 45 minutes or thereabouts seems about right. Whereas the Ferrari's a little bit nicer on its tyres, so not steering with the rear axle as much. So we'll see. It might even be the strategy to just let Raschuti past and so just sit in the slipstream. Because I think Rashuti's a touch quicker than Ventina at this point in time. He's just being held up because obviously he's stuck behind. Looking a little bit further down the field, looks like Fleming in the number 17 Porsche is just in the back of Evans at the moment. About half a tenth, that gap.
and
Porsche on screen there gets a little bit of a wiggle, goes a touch deep. Third to last corner here.
And at this point, I'd like to welcome Alexis Bowen into the commentary booth. Alexis, how you going?
Yes, doing well on a very fine Saturday night. Got plenty of GT3 racing going on here at Indianapolis. Looks like it's been a pretty solid race so far, and that radar is looking very, very interesting as well. The rain looking to be arriving in about 25 minutes from what I can see.
Looks like it could be quite spicy.
Yeah, it's just after the pit window as well, so I think this might benefit the Ferraris. They can push just a touch longer, and they can assess from there and whack the wets on potentially if the rain's going to hang around that long. But on degraded tyres, I think everybody will be jumping in for wets. I think he'd be pretty brave to try and stick it out.
We already have a driver in. That's the 87 of Greco's coming into the pits now. Also seem to have Cam Fisselfleet joining us in the comments box. How are you, Cam?
I'm very well, thank you. It's great to be here in the state of Indiana to watch some racing around this historic racetrack.
I'll leave you all to it.
Thank you, Glenn. We appreciate your input in the comments box. We'll let you sit back and focus on the important bits.
That was awesome, Glenn. Thanks for joining me for that first 3/4 of an hour. I don't think I could have done it without you.
2 hours and 14 minutes left in this one, with Mitch Hobbs in the 171 entry currently leading the way from the 191 Kovacs entry of Sinekas, and then the 277 Aston Martin there of Herod. Quite a variety of different cars within your top 10. I mean, within your top 5, you got 4 different manufacturers, which is great to see. And as usual, plenty of very, very fast drivers in the Octane Online Racing Duo Series.
Yeah, 100%. If you'd have been here about 20 minutes ago, I think we would have had 5 different manufacturers in the top 5, which is really good. Looks like the Kunos BOP not too bad around Indianapolis at the moment. I've also just noticed in chat, so just for fun, I'm not 100% sure who that is, but they're saying car 183 here, so they had a wheel disconnect. So that's what happened earlier in the race, and that's why they're unfortunately 4 or 5 laps down at the moment.
the Aston Martin of McAdam and Smith. Fortunately for car 183 in the M class. Probably was in a good shout for the win here, but at least the podium, because unfortunately we've only got, I believe, 4 running so far. But you know, anything can happen. There's still 2 hours to go, so you got to just keep plucking away. That's all you can do.
Yeah, that's hopefully this team can get something out of this one, even if they are a few laps down at this stage. But you know, still, yeah, as you said, 2 hours and 12 minutes to go in this one. And they may be bottom barrel for now, but hopefully that team name doesn't stay accurate for the rest of the race, as that was a bit close.
Yeah, not the smoothest overtake, whether it was a let by or anything like that. I think it was a little bit odd from the yellow Ferrari. I think that might be the 960 car. It's going away in the Pro-Am class. So it is great to see an Audi that at the top end of the grid as well. It's been a bit hit and miss these last few years, I think, for the Four Rings manufacturer in ACC, to say the least.
Yeah, it's yeah, unfortunately it's fallen for the Ferrari and McLaren meta, and obviously it's not the easiest car to drive either, so it definitely puts off a lot of people from that aspect. So you see Pignata here on screen in the A18 Nissan. I did say to keep an eye out for these guys. They're currently in the top 10 with 50 minutes or thereabouts of this race gone. So it's interesting to see how much further up the field they can progress. Now starting from P31, so not sure if that was intentional or not, but definitely making big moves throughout the field. So up 21 positions at this point in time.
Yeah, well, Alpha Venturi are one of the form teams in Octane Online Racing, as you've seen from many of our Enduros. The Alpha Venturi outfit are very well run, very professionally run, and tend to find themselves up the upper ends of the field. So hearing that they qualified, yeah, only P31, but have already moved up into P10 with less than a third of the race run. It's a very good effort from the 818 car.
Yeah, my tick naturally because it's just the car they're driving. So
Yes.
But yes, it is very impressive. I was a bit perplexed as I didn't catch the start of the race that they were this far down, but that makes sense if they come practically from the back of the grid. Which I guess you got to make your own fun sometimes in these races, but interesting on that one.
Yeah. They did seem to join fairly late. It was about halfway through qualifying I saw them jump into screen. Or jump into service. So I just see Hobbs jumping in here. This is interesting. So obviously we've got that rain on the radar here, and unfortunately sometimes you can't help it. Obviously some of the cars. Oh, and he's locked out there, unfortunately. He's got the exact same pit box as the McLaren ahead. That's always tough to line yourself up, so I wouldn't be surprised if he loses a second or two, unfortunately, here in the pit stop just from getting moved.
It should be unaffected because the car would have disappeared on his end. So that's a new feature that's implemented the last few years.
Oh, is that the case? I have not had the misfortune of sharing a pit box during the pit stop, so
Can be very tricky in the older years before that the feature was implemented. Thank goodness it's happened. Cars will phase out when you get too close to them in the pit lanes, hence you can't get the double box, which will be needed at tracks which have a lot of overlapping pit boxes with large grids, hence the forthcoming Nordschleife at the start of next month.
yes, I did see that. It's going to be a great addition to the game. Definitely going to be very, very popular in the community, I can imagine.
Only fools would be driving it on the first day it's out.
Well,
Rolls eyes.
Yes, there's a lot more where that came from, and you can catch more of that tomorrow night on Twitch for the F1 series.
As we've just got Ben Hickman in the chat saying, so the 171 Audi has put Connor Hind in the car as their second driver, and apparently Indianapolis is his favourite track. So we'll see how much more of a gap he can pull out in P1. He does have a couple cars ahead, which might be able to go a little bit longer. So it doesn't look like the Audi is awfully good on the fuel, or they've decided to just maybe refuel the car. They might even be on the same tyres. No, the stop was too long for that.
It'll be 30 seconds regardless because of the driver change anyway. So
that is correct. Yes.
But of all the racetracks in the world, Connor, how can this be your favourite? I hope that is very much sarcasm and a joke.
I was
It's
going
not
to
even the best version of the road course of Indianapolis. The old version that the GP about that chicane at the end is much better.
Hang on, but Ben also saying he's just angry he can't race in his favourite car, the BMW. So I have a feeling that it might be a bit of an inside joke.
No, that's just the livery. I thought there was a bit of damage on the front of the 171 Audi there, but no, that's just the livery playing tricks on my eyes. But yes, so it looks like Indianapolis being his favourite track is a bit of sarcasm, so is acceptable. I can't imagine this being anybody's favourite track. I'm going to get all the, gonna get people with their pitchforks out, I reckon, but certainly not in my, I'm going to say even top 20 ACC.
Funny thing is, literally until about a few hours ago, this is now the only track I've not driven in the game.
Yeah, completely fair.
I think really it's this layout as that was looked a bit deep from Connor Hind. He did actually go onto the grass there, so maybe just hasn't quite got those tyres into the temperature window just yet. But he's struggling a little bit right now to get a grips of the Audi at his favourite track in ACC. But yeah, just back onto what I was saying. I think the biggest thing holding this track back for me, this bit is dreadful, but also just the fact that you're on the road course layout and not the brickyard.
I mean, yeah, I get it. I'm not sure GT3 cars on an oval really is something I would really care about. But I think just let us at least take the one of the corners, the bank corners, just get rid of, because the old road
just get rid of the old the last chicane. Get rid of that terrible chicane and let them hit the wall 2005 style.
Thanks, Michelin.
Yes.
Even though that was implemented much later, to be fair, but still, it's just like, why would we even come to Indianapolis at all? Anyway. Everyone knows Daytona's the best road oval course.
Yes, absolutely. You cannot beat Daytona's oval.
Yeah, let's go on the banking.
Yeah. Looks like
let's go for a large part of the oval. How generous.
Hold on, there's just a bit of battling here between Paulie and Cook by the looks of it. Paulie having to defend valiantly from the Honda behind, and you've got what looks to be a lapped Aston Martin just behind that as well, as Cook is showing the front of the Honda. He won't go for a dive up the inside. That is basically suicide going into turn 1 here.
Protec Honda in the hands of Brad Cook.
191's coming to the pits as well now, so a few drivers starting to get forced into the pits just due to that fuel load. There you go, Jean-Pierre Sneakers coming out now.
Now they obviously can full fuel because they have the 30-second minimum time anyway, unless they don't change their tires.
I don't think they changed their tires. I think they just added fuel.
That seemed quite short. Oh, and Eric's in the lead now.
Yes, yes, it's there's been a lead change for the moment, but that is due to Sneakers not taking tires. Seneca's
Yeah,
A lot of traffic now
there's a
behind
lot
as well.
I think that's the strategy here, because obviously we've got that rain coming in. Probably about 8 minutes ish. It's going to start.
It won't be 8 minutes because the 10 minutes still showing clear.
Yeah, that is very true. It's interesting that the 171 Audi decided to change drivers, and I mean, if you're going to change drivers, as Cameron, you were saying that it's going to be a 30-second stop anyway, you might as well change tyres at the same time. So I think the little splash and dash for the 191 Kovacs entry with Jay and Jason Eckes piloting that car is probably the strategy here. Just enough fuel to get to that rain, and then they can come in for a full pit
Here you
stop.
go, 10 minutes time now we've got the rain, so that rain has now moved within 10 minutes. But yeah, there we go, Ben confirming in chat, 15-second pit stop for the 191.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Benjamin. Something I wanted to mention as well. Yeah, I was going to say, it is the strat. To be fair, also like to the Audi, you know, I think it's probably a bit harder car on tyres, maybe they thought they could take it, but, you know, maybe they just didn't really have the, you know, maybe that's just the small strategy calls that can change the race somewhat. As how to say, you know, granted, Sneakers has kind of dodged most of it, but Hannah Hines stuck behind a few cars that are for position as well, which is only hemorrhaging him more and more time as well.
Hines really struggling to get through this traffic. He's got the McLaren of Viney ahead, and then Maddox is right in front of that, and then there's what, 14 seconds between Maddox and Seneca, so it can be very, very tough ask behind to make up the time, even with the tyre advantage. Does try to dive up the inside there of turn 8, but nothing doing. It's just too tight of a corner to be making a move. This is another one of the biggest issues with this track is just how tricky it is to overtake.
You know what doesn't help? That's a Kovac's car as well, that's in front of him.
Yes.
And who are the Sneakers drivers in team they're in? Kovac's. So I think there's some gamemanship.
Oh yes.
Got one too deep.
Yep.
Driving
and that's
amazing,
it,
too
so.
much there.
But he's done his job. He's cost them more time.
Yeah,
it's
I failed to recognise that was another Kovac's car there, because I was going to say you might as well just let him through. Like he's a pit stop up on you.
It only
guys are
really
both
dawned
gonna
on
lose
me
time.
when he actively defended into one of the corners when Cook had a look. So I was like, yes, that's sorry, not Cook.
And what do you have just up ahead again?
Oh,
Another
wow.
Kovac's car.
Oh,
God,
wow,
they're
look at
everywhere.
that.
Like a plague.
Yes.
Say that. They know me. I've used much worse words for them. They've used much worse words for me as well, so it's all in good fun.
All that ends, all as well that ends well.
Well, knowing some Kovac's drivers' luck, it doesn't always end well.
Just looking at the rain radar again, increasing in 30 minutes. This rain when it arrives, it will be here to stay.
Yeah, it started off light, and then suddenly it's gone down to medium, so it's not going to be a small drizzle at the start. Well, it might be for maybe a minute. But yeah, we can already see the light is slowly fading. We've lost the sunlight. It's getting a bit grey out there, a bit more shadows, and as he's losing time, but he can't afford an incident. You know, a penalty or anything like that. It's just going to be even worse. He needs to maintain composure.
There you go. Have a very important question in chat, as Maddox has actually let Hines through there, so Maddox will be kicked out of Kovacs for sure. Mace asking in chat, are Jedi powers legal? Well, to be fair, that right there could have been Jedi powers, and we wouldn't have known.
Do they show up on Motec?
Yeah, I was going to say, potentially frowned upon, but I wouldn't say illegal.
I think it would show up on Motec if the throttle was still on, and there was just a random brake input coming on as the throttle was still at 100%.
120% brake pressure.
Yes.
Just break one wheel of your opponent.
Isn't it that
Just
the
break
clip
your
from
opponent.
the MotoGP, where the competitor just pulls up next to the guy ahead, and just like squeezes his brake a little. Definitely not enforced in that, but that definitely came to mind with this conversation.
Oh
It's
yes,
like really silly.
I remember that incident. That was Finati who did that back in Moto 2 or Moto 3. What a insert word here that I'll not be using.
I was gonna say that seems like something that would get you the biggest of paddlings if it was nefarious.
Yes, and it was absolutely nefarious.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, you know, it could so sound like something you could do to a mate if you knew him well enough. Like, only very lightly, but it could also be a very stupid thing to do, a very dangerous thing to do.
Yes. I believe he
It's
got a
very dark.
It has. I believe he got a bit of a ban for it, but it's since returned to racing, but to far less success. But yeah, as you were saying, it's gotten very, very dark. It wouldn't surprise me if this rain starts falling imminently. And I mean, that Kovacs car has put itself in a nice position, but all the drivers ahead of the Kovacs car have not pit.
Yeah.
I wonder if Herod is just like eating his fuel on the lowest fuel map right now. If he is on the similar strategy, pitted around the same time.
What I reckon's happened is obviously the fuel tanks, like you have more in the fuel tank than an hour's worth. So I reckon that the guys that have pitted probably fueled for an hour or thereabouts, like 65 minutes or so. Whereas the guys that are still out have either, yeah, as you said, Cam, fuel saving, or they've just filled their tank from the start just in case something like this does happen.
Wait, we've got a
It
spin.
does play into their hand. Yeah, just there's a yellow flag there.
396, you are Randall. Unfortunately goes for a loop-de-loop on the exit of British Corner, but hopefully gets along.
Yeah, it's
Just
certainly
well.
not the first that we've seen there, and certainly not the last, I can guarantee.
Just McLaren
Okay,
drivers.
hold on. Now this is interesting. The rain is now easing in half an hour, so we're going to have about a 30-minute rain shower here.
A medium rain shower as well. It's not even like a. I think that's gonna maybe make that decision a bit more decisive, because I don't think you can afford to not pit. If it does come down, like it's alluding to say the least. But I would have reckoned Sneakers wouldn't have taken a full tank for sure. I reckon he would have taken maybe about half or even less, just so he has the speed still to go the distance.
I'm not sure. Like Ben did say earlier, there was a 15-second stop. I'm pretty sure you can fill up the tank in about 15 seconds. So
I
it'd be
think it's
interesting to see.
yeah, I'm not too sure. It's always tricky to tell on estimates, but yeah, I do agree. I mean, it takes at least 3 seconds to do 1 liter.
Yep. Yeah, but after that, I think it goes up by 2/10 after that, and it caps out. I can't remember exactly what it caps out at, but yeah, there's a point where yeah, the fuel doesn't take any longer to put in.
Yeah, there we go. 15-ish seconds.
Yeah.
Takes me back to the old F1 days where we used to time the fuel stops, and then they would calculate the how much fuel went in based off the flow rates. Unfortunately, we don't have that information, but either way.
And back in the day, didn't you have to have your race fuel in the car for the last part of poly or something like that?
Yeah, you need like a fuel tank or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was always tricky. I've always assumed that rule stayed in, to be honest, but I don't know if it's been taken out.
I'm pretty sure nowadays they have just quali fuel and they just do it. Like
I remember through all the end of the V8 era, that was pretty much the case. Like it was always running. So Paulie, I think, is lacking some rubber on those tires. He's taking some very unorthodox lines here and there, but he is keeping Cook at bay. That's it.
Yeah, he is staying in P2 for the moment, but yeah, those tyres look a bit second-hand at this point.
I agree with Graham Hill in chat. It's just like, you know, the Honda can't outdrag the Lamborghini, which is famously not a very quick car on the streets.
Yep.
We know how fast that Honda can be in a straight line.
Yes. Oh, Bathurst days, jeez.
Yes.
So that 1.8 better.
It's just something to take the worst, one of the most mech cars in the game and then make it OP on this new track.
Okay, the rain has not started yet, and it is already showing in half an hour no more rain, so that makes things very interesting for the drivers, but I still think we're going to have about a 25-minute shower that will force them into the pits.
Yep. Yeah, and the track's not going to dry out too quickly either. The track temp 25 degrees at the moment. There is a touch of wind, which does help dry the track out. But yeah.
The top pack must be just like, where is this rain? So I think Zanchin came in as well. There's already left the pits as well, but they've done a short stop just away. Oop, there's got Porsche facing the wrong way at turn 1.
Common Porsche activities.
Yep, capable up against a 90 car Wittner and Hill. I think the Super King slow. Looks like they've got going. And here's the rain!
And it's all just arrived at once, and you'll see the track condition can get worse very, very quick. It's already cooled down to 24 degrees Celsius on the track.
Zanchin must
Fast.
be kicking themselves if they didn't take wet tyres. About to see the flurry of activity in the pit lane.
It is already very slidey out there.
It's gone green, greasy. I was going to say, it's not the coldest temps out there, but it's now gone to 23, so it is cooling down, and the colder it is, the wetter this track will get.
Oh, look at how much Josh Hill struggles on the brakes going into turn 8 there. The cars will not be having a lot of fun on the dries, as Fleming is already into the pits, and
He is in the pits, 277.
that is as well, yeah, 567.
Yeah,
Make
I
sure
don't
you
think
get
I've
stopped.
ever seen a track go from optim to greasy that quickly. That is crazy.
I've played this game for a long time, and I always get tripped up because it used to take a lot longer to transition, even when it was raining like this. But nowadays, the transition is really quick, I've noticed.
All these drivers are coming in now that the rain has already intensified to the point where they're going, all right, we need to just get on some wet tires because the dries just won't have the grip with how cold
cars
the
still
track.
going round. Look,
So here we go. On up
Oh,
Archer,
yeah.
520 drive through for causing a collision. So I think that was the yellow flag that we saw just earlier. But yeah, so Sonicus in as well. So see where he pops out, because obviously due to his pit stop he was a little bit out of position to where he started, and these guys ahead have all pitted, but their first pit stop, not second. Now it looks like Mr. Pignata in the 818 Nissan has decided to stay out a touch longer, so fancies his chances to just, keep it in a straight line and keep it quick in the wet.
Oh, he's struggling.
As someone who made the wrong decisions earlier in the week on a wet track with dry tyres, I would advise that it's not the right call.
He does still seem to have enough grip there in the tyres, enough temperature in the tyres to push the Nissan around the track.
The problem is it just can't. Even that's the thing. Even if you keep the car under control, you just don't have the corner speed because you don't have the grip.
Oh, Taylor in the 695, a stop-go 30.
Cut across the track as well.
So that was Cook who came into the pits, and either Cook sped in or Taylor sped out, and that's a stop-go 30. They now have to serve that, and there you go, Pinata now into the pits for the 818 Alpha Venturi car.
So John Sonique is taking over from his brother. And dare say he's got a set of Pirelli wets on there with the no markings, the no yellow markings on the side, but also we have the handy widget. So yes, rain is still going to be continuing for 10 minutes. Rain lights are on. It's going to be increasing intensity, but then it is going to somewhat sharply drop off, we estimate, based on how it changed from the 30-minute widget earlier on. So yes, it might suddenly stop, but I fear with the amount of intensity that we're getting, we're going to have a wet track for a while. As going to go 3 wide as Connor Hine reads the traffic perfectly and is going to cut and get 2 cars in one, hopefully, as long as the Nissan doesn't miss his braking zone, and hopefully that's not been anything more than an overtake. That's what we like to see.
Yes, indeed, as The 277 has come into the pits again. Did they forget? Did they forget to put the wets on? Yes, they did. They forgot to change it to wets.
There was a driver change from Harry to Cooley. It was in the lead, and they were net P1, but unfortunately they have not selected wets. Oh no! Again. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, this is the stop go 30.
Stop go SG30.
But also, yeah, the tires,
Wow.
but also the tires, yeah.
They're on dries as well.
Yeah,
Oh
this is-
no!
What are these drivers? Oh no.
Oh, no.
Taylor's got to come back in again. Surely,
Yeah,
unless that's glitched.
No, because you can see the yellow on the.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's...
Yeah, okay, now Cooley's on the wet, so that was legitimate. Herod and Cook forgot to change the tyres over the wets, and that meant Cooley and Taylor have had to come back in. Taylor will have... no, he's not going to cert the stop go 30 at the moment.
Still showing his dries. So we might have...
Or maybe he has cert... Yeah, maybe he has to cert the stop go 30, but...
Well, yeah, but we'll see
I would have put the wets on first and then come to do my SG30, but I think everything's just gone to CAC.
Yeah, it's definitely going to shake up the top 6.
He might have forgotten to turn off the serve penalty.
Yeah.
Oh.
It is something you can do, but if you don't, it's not something I think most of us practice for, to say the least.
Yeah, there you go, and that's still dry, so clearly forgot to turn off the serve penalty before coming into the pits. And once you're in the pit lane, you cannot turn it off.
So, it looks like Alex Tonkin in the 69 Lamborghini takes a net P1 as Viney and Maddox jump into the pits to chuck on their wets and fuel up.
Tonkin's still on dries, what?
I think there's some glitch as well.
That has to be.
I think the Honda was also on wets there because the speed he was taking was not someone who was driving slicks on this kind of weather. Like, yeah, I did notice in the earlier in the week, I think, you know, with the last update we had, there's some still shenanigans going on.
Thank you, Kunos, for your features.
Yeah.
Also, we've got Ben Hickman in the chat saying the 695 had contact into the pit lane. So he might have just slid into the wall, I reckon, is my guess. Oh, maybe he is on dries.
Might have been. He's still running TC3, so I feel like
if he was on dries in these conditions, he would be super slow and probably spinning out.
Yeah, that's true.
But I think it's.
I think it might have just been a
You
bit
wouldn't
of
be
a
carrying
Lambo
the speed and everything as well. You just couldn't.
Yeah, that Honda seems fine. So yeah, it's clearly just some visual glitch. Yeah.
He's full throttle on this almost flat corner. Well, he's I had to left a little bit because well, it's still wet. So
Yeah,
look
the
at
track
the
is
standing water.
moist.
Yeah, this shot does it justice. There's a fair amount of standing water, so as was
still gonna have
right.
10 minutes of this as well.
Yeah, it's gonna take a while to dry out, I reckon. I'm not 100% sure where the puddles are at Indianapolis. Don't think I've ever driven in the wet here, but definitely going to see some forming.
The 23 GTR, I believe, is coming again unless they missed the original stop. But there's a switch back to Scani from Mike Rick, so I'm not too sure on that one, but I think there's a few cars out there that have not been nailing their pit stops, to say the least.
Yeah.
It's all well and good being quicker through this corner, a few tenths here and there, but if you throw it all away in your pit stop, it's gonna, it's almost moot.
Well, it is really just.
Sorry, did I just lose concentration there? Did they just not pit? Did they just do a drive-through?
Not too certain.
No, but
they definitely
because that pit
changed.
lane is super long. Like all the pit stalls.
Oh, it's deep, Scotty.
Oh, wow. Some style points there.
The pit stalls are quite early in the Indianapolis pit lane, so
Yeah.
although that suggests that they might still be on dries.
I was gonna say their sidewalls still show dries, but I'm not certain.
Because that looks very slow.
Yeah. stay on board hopefully for the next few corner.
It is. I don't know. It's.
I think Scott is kind of just maybe kind of getting up to speed somewhat, but he is. I think they're on wets, to be honest. I think they are on wets. I think they're just GTR.
GTR things.
This is like you couldn't go this speed if you were on dryers through that corner, put it that way.
You'll just be aquaplaning off. Speaking of aquaplaning off, there.
I think a few drivers just are not realizing they're wet to braking markers, to say the least. You can't brake at the same points.
Well, with how flowing the corners of this track are, you really have to adjust your braking markers accordingly to the weather compared to a lot of other tracks.
Yeah. In the meantime, the 818 Nissan has moved up into overall P3. About 5 seconds behind Sonicus in second.
Oh, there's been contact up ahead, and I think that's the laundry house, isn't it? Was that Pickford? I think Pickford's been hit around by Greco. Sorry, not Greco. Zanchin, maybe. Did see the car go around.
Still
I
going.
think it's between Garage and Johnston. There's a bit of contact there. So that's P28 and Johnston, so P5. Well, was P4 at the time of the incident, so potentially maybe with an overly aggressive move into turn 1 or looking to like get through lap traffic, but might be able to get a replay of that at some point.
This McLaren looks like it's got no front end on it at all.
What front end?
I was gonna say it's kind of just understeering everywhere, and as soon as he touches rotors, like turbos are like whoop.
Well, there's a Mercedes behind that seems to be lapped down that's about to overtake, so
maybe this is a dry run. We're braking on the wet side as well. If he is on the dries, I'll be. Yeah, and that's no offense to the ANZ CRL cars, but they're not the top of the field. And I think the way they just blasted past P5 there, I think that's a car either that's heavily damaged.
that's a dry.
But it's on dries to say the least. This one might be real.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's understeering a lot.
That's almost accurate.
Oh, my
It's going
lord.
straight on. They must jump into the pits this lap.
What are you doing?
No.
What are you doing? Go right, man!
They're banking on the rain ending soon, but this track won't dry out quick.
No.
They got a hemorrhage all the time that's gonna take west.
Oh man,
Yeah.
that they've already committed to the strategy. They committed to it ages ago, so they just have to continue on. But as you said earlier, the 69 car currently leads the way. The amateur science entry from Tonkin. This car was, I believe, P3 or P4 before the pit stops, and looked to be struggling on its tyres a little bit, but has managed to capitalise on a few mistakes from the other front runners, and is now in P1, 18.2 seconds clear of John Sneakers.
No one tell Taylor and Cook this, because they were right behind this car, so they could have been P2 right now.
What happens when you don't observe the pit speed?
Yes. A testament to how close it is still up and down the field. But yes, Johnson, yeah, you commit to that strategy, but you can still call like damage limitation and call it early. I would be in, because I think you can still, minimize your time loss. I think by committing to this, it's going to be overall a bad do.
Oh, so Brad Cook in the chat. Chris accidentally knocked the pit limiter button. And Jared
They
Garage
did it.
there, stop and go 10 for causing a collision. I reckon that's what we saw earlier between himself and Johnston.
That turn 1, yeah. Should have been, not sure who was. That suggests that Johnson was on the receiving end, but that would have done them no favours on an already strategy. I think that's going to plummet them down the road, to say the least. Because that's the thing, everyone behind them is not really, it's an enduro, but everyone's still relatively pretty much on the lead lap and not far behind. So You don't really have the gap to fall back on, so
Another yellow flag for Johnston at turn 1.
that's 7, yeah. So another mishap at turn 1, maybe unassisted. Call it now, boys. Go on.
Put the
You
key in
know,
the rack.
Yeah. Even if the rain stops, you gotta, you know, as I found out, as soon as it gets greasy, it's only when it's gonna be suitable, and it's not a very warm day either, so it's not gonna dry out very quickly. Look at the amount of water that's on the track.
Yeah, it's crazy. There's a lot of standing water, so yeah, I think it's going to take a while to dry out, even if the rain does stop. But anyway, guys, it's been an absolute pleasure. I'll leave you with Alexis and Cam for the next hour or so of this race. The rain has definitely made it a little bit more interesting than just go for as long as you can, go for as long as you can. And yeah, the top 6 has definitely been shaken up a little bit. So it'll be interesting to see how this one progresses, but I'll be watching as a spectator, not as a commentator for the rest. So it's awesome to commentate again tonight, guys. I'll leave it. Catches.
Thank you, Brenner. It was fantastic having you in, and we wish you a very, very good Saturday night for the rest of your night. We have 1 hour and 37 minutes to go, and that rain will be ending in about 15 minutes time, but the drivers won't be able to make really any sort of pit stop for another 25 minutes at least, though. They'll basically be able to come into the pits once it does dry out, put some fresh dry tires on, full fuel to the end of the race.
Yeah, it's gonna be tricky, and yeah, J Hill, like, you know, we saw them how to spin just as before the rain kind of kicked off. Zenchin gets the drive-through, causing a collision on lap 48. So stewards are busy out there. There's lots happening as we watch at Johnson, and yep, there's one car going past, and here's about 3 more that are ready to, you know, do the same.
Yeah, about 75 million cars.
Look at them. They keep coming.
Oh dear, and that was the
Rochford, I think.
Yeah, that was the 991 of Rochford, and he's now dropped behind Chalmers, the number 78, and Maloney, the 567. In fact, this is going all over the place. They're going side by side now as they run down towards turn 8. These are 2 team cars, as far as I'm aware. As Maloney dives it from a long way back, the Bin Chicken Racing 567 car, getting past the 70, and that is Rochford getting back past Chalmers now.
Frankly, haven't lost too much ground in the grand scheme of things with that sort of harp spin that they had. The contact, I believe, with a Ferrari, it might have been. I'm not too sure on that one. But that's going very deep.
Nearly too deep as he gets onto the curb on the outside. Oh my, the Jesus, 9 Lord.
Got it turned in and got it kind of stopped. It was surprisingly pedestrian from the Ferrari somewhat. Whether that was a weird redress, but I'd be surprised if it was, or whether
that was a blue flag by the looks of it.
Yeah. Oh goodness gracious! Please no.
No, thank you. No, thank you at all. Just no.
Rochford not hanging about, to say the least, in the McLaren. And that looks like, oh goodness, this is the white Ferrari nearly hits the black and white Ferrari up, following just behind. There's yes, there's not the sharpest driving standards out there, and we gotta maybe just temper things, pull the reins in a little bit, you know, kind of just underdrive a little bit. Looks like the rain widget is now. Rain should stop in 10 minutes. if not less, to be honest, at this rate. But I think we're not going to see a dry track for at least probably 20-30 minutes, I'd wager.
Yeah, I don't know when sort of this is going to ease off as there's the car going off there at this terrible chicane.
Brake before the corner, people. Brake earlier. You'll find the corner much easier in these conditions.
Yes, definitely. Really, if you're braking and turning at the same time, at most corners, you're driving wrong. There are some corners where you kind of have to be turning a little bit while you're braking just because the way it's designed, but for most corners, no.
Some moves from Herbert in the 17 Porsche. Probably liking these conditions a little bit more than most. Sneakers really hasn't made much headway into Tonkin there in the Lamborghini, so looking good for the net P1 right now. Coming behind, trying to make up for the unfortunate sort of like at the early stop they had to do. But they're still in it. They're still on the lead lap, still within firing distance as well of the cars ahead for the lead. So just gonna keep on it, keep doing the laps, chip away at those gaps.
Yeah, that's it, and that will be the biggest part of the rest of this race. We're about to hit the halfway mark, an hour and a half to go, and well, anything can happen from here. Look at John Sneakers, who's been gaining slowly on Tonkin. I think the gap's now about 15.8 seconds. We'll take a look once he crosses the sector line there, and it is, yeah, 15.7 seconds. Kovacs Racing entry has been closing in at a bit of a rate, so we could have a nice battle for the lead later once this rain subsides and they're back onto the dry tyres.
Yeah, I have to say that there might be a little bit more to it. Looking at the track map, the leader has is just ahead of 5 cars, so they might have had to negotiate a few in that, which never makes you go quicker, to say the least. Rain's still falling. It's not gonna die off anytime soon, but hopefully some rhythms have been settled into, and hopefully it's gonna really shake. It really has shaken up this race because somewhat, unfortunately, a few drivers fallen down quite a bit. The 277 was in prime position, but unfortunately got it wrong with a perhaps on the wrong, switched to the wrong tire, or who knows what. But they unfortunately had to come back in after doing a first initial driver change. Obviously the Honda 695 as well. What could have been. Looking good for the 69 car Tonkin, and dare say looking just as well for the Sneakers brothers in the 191 Kovacs Racing entry. Got a few blue flags to negotiate. There's one, and that's all you gotta do. Just tick them off one by one.
Yep, that's it. Just gotta work your way through however can, I suppose. It's a long race, so you can't rush these things.
Let's have a run through of our classes. Obviously, Tonkin right now is leading the pro class with Hill still with a 15-second pen to leading up the silver class, and there's even when they serve that pen, they're gonna maybe stay ahead of Rochford. Pro-Am class is headed up by Scani in the 23 GTR, with Greco only a few 3 seconds behind, and Carter as well in the 88 McLaren, holding down P23. In the M class, so you've got to run your own race, fight your own battles. No point throwing it away for nothing. So we kind of just gone past the halfway mark as well into the race. So it won't be sort of like the lull a little bit, but it's still like these laps still count in the grand scheme. Half a second here, half a second there, even less than that even, and it can all add up come the end to make the difference. So we'll see where the gap from Sneakers to Tonkin at the timing line, 15.6 seconds, so no real time gained, and he's got a gaggle of cars as well in front to negotiate, so it's going to be tricky. But looking at the track map, the leader has also got a whole bunch of cars to negotiate as well.
Traffic won't be helping too much.
Look down the field, looks like Herbert is only half a second behind Rochford in the McLaren. Picked up behind one of his fellow Kovacs cars, and has to have a little bit of a correction as well. Gets past the number 70 of Johnston. That was the car that tried to stick it out. I'm not sure if they are still sticking it out on dries, but it's just, you know, you're already down to P15 from P5. It's at this point probably best continuing, but you know the rain's still falling and you've still got a long time after that until dries are going to work again.
Yeah, like once the rain stops, you're gonna have about 15 minutes where the track will just need to dry out.
And this is a very wet track as well. It's not even remotely like dry, remotely like slightly wet.
It won't be
long
until
way.
about an hour to go that they'll start switching on to dries, I'd say.
Yellow flag just up ahead on the right hand side here. Oh, Zanekas 32, perhaps 52.
The rain has stopped.
27.
The rain has stopped.
Good news for Johnston, or whether it's good news in a flurry of horrendous news overall. It's some respite, but yeah, those car 27 of Slade and McLaren go for a spin on the exit of turn 2 there. It's lost a few positions behind Scani and Pickford and Greco as well, so not the only McLaren we're seeing going for a little bit of a pirouette. I dare say it won't be the last.
These conditions are going to get very, very tricky now for the drivers. Personally, I don't think it's the full wet conditions that are hardest in the game, but it's the transition point between the wet and the dry that tends to be the hardest, because if you're on the dry tires, they won't quite get up to temperature and they won't have a lot of grip in them, but if you're on the wets, then they'll be overheating and you'll start to get really, really loose on traction, and you'll start to have a very tough time keeping the car pointed in a straight line.
See Pat Oliver's not that far away from Sonicas as well in the grand scheme of things. I'm not sure if he's been making much inroads, but only 9 seconds behind, and he's got Connor Hind right on the back of him as well. So yeah, now the rain's stopped, we're going to see a lot of cars looking for that standing water at the edge of the tracks to keep their tires cool. The wets do not like running in anything other than basically full wet conditions. There is no real intermediate compound. You know, we kind of have it a little bit easy in the game because, to be honest, the drivers reported in real life in these kind of conditions, as Hine has got a half a nose there, but you can't really do much with it. So Chris Taylor gets a penalty for causing a collision on lap 43, so it's more insult to injury for 695. It's going to be tricky behind because the GTR can just get a class-leading acceleration, even better than the Porsche coming out of corners when it can get the power down.
Yeah, and with how effective that turbo is in the Nissan, it can be super, super strong off the exit of the corner. So that's going to make it very tricky for the Audi to get through. But if Hine can run through some of these complex corners and make a dive up the inside, like he was looking to shape up into turn 13, and he's actually forced Oliver into a spin.
Yep.
Oh, get careful on the rejoin, Paddy. Managed to keep it.
Just the other GTR, sorry, Scani. But yes, the psych out come from Hind, and you kind of just showed the nose a little bit. Didn't really go for a move, but gave Palva something to look in the mirrors, and unfortunately Pat didn't really try to make the corner and tried to brake at the same time, having broke too late.
Yeah,
watching went for a half spin, which is actually quite easy to do in the GTR because it's tend to run the rear bias quite far back, especially in these weather conditions as well.
Yeah, the GTR is very tricky to keep pointing in a straight line going through some of these harsh braking zones, and it's even harder when you've got the wet conditions. But no, it was really well played by Connor Hind to just psych out Paddy Oliver, who's starting to take some alternate lines to just keep those tyres in some form of operating condition.
I think he needs to compose himself a little bit. He's kind of driving a little bit erratic from having, I don't think anyone drives very well after having a spin like that. You get annoyed and frustrated, and it's very hard to shake it off and try to, it's going to be a weird thing to say, but you got to channel your Taylor Swift and just shake it off. And, yeah, there we go. That's the appropriate response. See?
Yeah, keeping the
look, I'm okay.
The Taylor Swift alive.
I like, there's much worse music out there, I dare say.
Yeah,
it's like the only song that I listen to from Taylor Swift, I'll say.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I do listen to a bit of Taylor Swift. I normally listen
to Metallica and Rammstein. There is a difference in my usual appetites.
Yeah, no, I mean, my music taste tends to be quite all over the place, so I won't even discuss much of it now.
I was listening to EDM earlier.
Oh, yes.
To try and wake myself up to do an earlier qualifying session before this broadcast.
Yeah, that's fair, but yeah, you can see Paddy Oliver really just struggling to keep things going strong. He'll be hoping that the track dries up soon so he can potentially pass the car back over to Matthew Pinata.
I dare say Sky's going to be frustrated here. He'll be like, well, look at me, I am the faster GTR driver now. And he, to be fair, I think he is.
He is, absolutely, yes. But now there's plenty of traffic, so that might actually help Scani a little bit here. Although really, he's 21 seconds back from next to
a run. He has a run. Oh no, he's still car behind, and it's tricky. I would try to get past Pat Oliver. The problem is it's very tricky to unlap yourself. I dare say a bit like Verstappen and Ocon since before. Some drivers don't anticipate getting unlapped, and sometimes can have an element of stubbornness about it. I'm not saying Pat Oliver is going to be one of those, but it's not something that I think. I am net position ahead, therefore I don't have to think about behind unless it's a net position car. But you have to always be aware, as Pat Oliver goes very deep, like we've seen so many people do into that corner as well. It looks like a horrible corner anyway.
Well, it doesn't look like a horrible corner. It just is a horrible corner.
Yes, exactly. And this is also another horrible corner. We have a banking. Why we have this horrible thing?
Because, chicane, I guess. Michelin moment.
Yes.
Well, I mean,
We could have Sonoma, we could have Virginia International Raceway, we could have Road Atlanta, we could have Road America, but no, we got this.
We could have had Daytona.
Yes. Although GT World Challenge America doesn't go there.
Don't care,
But
we could have had Daytona.
They went to Sonoma. Oh, and Alba's got to get it, he has to correct it, and that's exactly what Scarlett is waiting to see. And yes, I was going to say GTR kind of does like these conditions, but that said, when the rain stops, as I found out the other night, these tires get really overheated quite quickly, even in these conditions. Like, it's still wet. Actually, to be honest, like, they're probably not too bad currently. It's wet.
Yeah, well, the track is wet, but that's just because there's so much runoff area that isn't used. So it's probably more damp, if not getting towards greasy levels on the actual track itself now.
Yeah, only once it gets to greasy, you have to kind of...
there you go, track is damp now, so...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't think we'll see any dry pits, but hopefully everyone's fueled up enough as well to go the distance through this rain shower. I think...
oh yeah, they absolutely will be, because they pit like an hour and 50 minutes to go.
Again, the track is on the right.
Oh dear. That's the...
Lap cars far behind, but you know, many more of those incidents, and I don't think that car's going to be a lap behind anymore, to say the least.
And he has to keep in mind that Cooley is only 22 seconds back. I think for now it should be fine for the AVR team, but yeah, it's not going to be leaving Paddy Oliver breathing easy, that's for sure.
I think as soon as it gets to greasy, I dare say that GTR will probably be one of the first dry pit stop.
That GTR well and truly be in at the end of next lap. I don't think anyone will be in at the end of this lap, but definitely next lap.
I feel like damp is going to be still too much for the for dries,
but there is a very clear dry line starting to form there now. And the sun is starting to peek its way back out again. The track has gone up to 24. So as long as you're staying clear of the wet parts of the track, which is really the only bit that's keeping this track as damp for the moment, then you can probably risk coming into the pits. But yeah, not on this lap. Not on this lap.
Is the only car who's really suffering that as badly. Like, we're seeing all cars unlapping themselves. We saw the other GTR Scarly, same tires, but just handling it a bit better, to say the least. And yeah, conundrum for 818, but they're still in a good position. I think the Hind was probably going to get them regardless. To be fair. That car was always only going to be on a resurgence. They were leading for a reason, to say the least. So they got the speed. And they're slowly plucking away, speaking of which, at Sneakers, who hasn't really gained anything on Tonkin. He's gained 3/10 since last time I had a look at it.
Yeah, it's been about a second over the past 10 minutes that Sneakers has been able to gain. It's just what the situation will be once they do come in for the dries again.
Oh, that's insult to injury as well. Like, the leader has just lapped 695, who was right behind him, dare say, 40 minutes ago.
Claps slowly.
And they've got a penalty to serve.
Yeah.
Looking at those light levels, I think the sun is peeking through the clouds.
Indeed it is.
So it's going to only help this track dry out a little bit as well. The temperature hasn't really changed, but it might do with a bit more UV on track. Ding dong here between Palmer's and Rochford. Who's gonna send it? Are they two alongside? It's quite far back for Rochford to send it, and it's a Kovacs teammate as well, so doesn't really send it on the charmers to say the least. I'm used to seeing these guys in a BMW and a Lamborghini because that's what they always drive in sprints. So it's weird to see them in anything else.
That's a big penalty for Zanchin, and number 14, that's a drive through for causing collision on lap 54, so that was about 10 laps ago now.
Yeah.
A big slap there for the number 14. But yeah, with that sun peeking out, the track will be drying off, and I reckon it will be going to greasy very, very soon. As, never mind, ignore that, wrong car number. I think Ben's gotten onto the beers a little bit too early. Although when you're a steward, there's no such thing as too early on the beers.
I think that's why you stewards. I thought there's a free mini bar in that place.
Yeah.
You got to incite them somehow.
Well, it may entice them in.
Angle it on a piece of string and then lock the door behind them.
Yes. It's like taking a pet to the vet. Entice them with a treat, lock them in their cage.
And there's worse places to go.
Ah, there you go. There's the proper penalty. 396 drive through for causing collision on lap 54. Yeah, okay. That seems to be the right number.
Goodness. I thought it was side by side then, and they're going to do a bit of a clang down the straights. And these guys are playing it as close as they need to be. I hope it's all in good fun, and hopefully it stays this way and doesn't end with two crisp packet shaped McLarens. Track's still damp. We can see there's obviously a lot more sun out there, but still the same temperatures. A little bit more wind, but
Rochford.
oh, that's deep. Oh, that's the gravel trap. I was gonna say I was quite impressed with seeing them kind of like dart left, dart right, and how late they were, how committed they were being in these conditions. And then,
Too committed.
Yeah.
It is a shame.
Speaking of the leader, you can see him in the background there, just behind these two cars. So looking really good, I have to say, for Tonkin. A very measured drive from them. Haven't really seen the incidents. They've just been clearing. They've had a lot of cars to clear in these last few laps. I think everyone behind them for the last half of the lap they've pretty much cleared since the rain has come through. And
If I was Sneakers, I would probably come in because that is basically looking dry as a bone now on the racing line.
But do you extend it so you don't have to pit again? Can you go to the end?
That McLaren should be able to go to the end on an hour and 10 minutes, you'd think.
I don't know what I think. I usually get it wrong
Like with an hour and 10 minutes, basically all the cars should be able to get to the end.
as long as they've done the driver stints, I think. Which I think most would have.
Well, they had JP in the car to start with. He did a little bit longer. He went through about an hour and 20 minutes. So
yeah,
that would mean
rain as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they should be fine for that car, but maybe some other cars have something a bit more to think about.
Yes. I would say the car that has the most to think about is the 171. As Tonkin, oh dear.
Oh no, I said it before, and I followed someone else off as well. I spoke earlier this time in the last lap about measured drive and not many mistakes, and then
Unmeasured drive, many
unmeasured.
mistakes. The opposites came true, as
Taylor there.
typically does for commentators.
Yeah, we have that power.
Apparently.
We
I
really
mean, it was Mace
reckless
asking.
abandon.
It was Mace asking earlier if Jedi power is illegal. Well, of course they are, because that's what we use. We are the Jedis.
Stuck in our ways as Jedi's, put it that way. Like the real Jedi's.
Yes.
When's it gonna go greasy? Because I think that's when we're gonna see a lot of pit activity.
Oh, that Lamborghini is starting to struggle a bit more now.
Wonder what Yeah, I think the highest I've gone to is 39.7 psi. The GTR on a set of wet and drying conditions.
With
Yeah,
max pressures in the previous patch.
That was no, it wasn't even max pressures. It was
Wow.
poor Rick sprints, not last week but the week before. And the first race started wet, but then quickly dried out with warm temperatures. But it was still a 20-minute race, so you had to just stick it out.
Yeah, you couldn't come into the pits or else you were done for, basically.
Braking was tricky, to say the least. I think that was what I noticed most in the car. It's just like the car just won't stop. Just the
Brakes do not exist.
Yeah, and then the ABS kind of freaks out, and it's like 171's gone for a spin. Got a Hind, yellow flag, turn 3.
Yes, that is Hind who has spun.
Oh, the Audi
things.
Audi things, yes.
Hind
Yes,
will
right.
be kicking himself a little bit. He'd want to do a lot better on his favorite track.
Yes. Definitely, he was like less than 7 seconds to see.
Yeah, that gap is now doubled, yeah.
Still clear of Oliver, who I wonder if it's maybe settled down.
You can see Paddy Oliver in the background there. It looks like he has settled down. Yeah, that's pretty significant. So that might mean that the race lead ends up just being between Tonkin and Sneakers or whoever gets into that car next, because that Audi looks like it's having a terrible time out there.
Yes,
When is
Audi-
it going to be greasy? This track is basically dry at this point and it is still damp. I refuse to believe that this track is damp. I feel a bit like Mitch Hobbs commentating Split Yellow Wednesday night.
I think I'm waiting for Mitch Hobbs to take out an indictment for me to never mention his name again after what I said on Thursday.
Oh.
I still don't think he's grasped. I don't think he's actually watched that VOD back yet.
Oh, yes.
To his chagrin. But yes, yeah, I can understand Hind. Oh, Chris Taylor is in. Dare say probably will go out on a set of dries, and they'll be hoping they can fuel her up to the end with an hour and 5 minutes.
Yeah.
They're going to be, maybe it's, hopefully the tank can accommodate for that.
It should do in that Honda with hour and 5 minutes to go. Again, hour and 5 minutes, that should take pretty much all the cars to the end.
Yes. Yeah, always tricky with the Audi, like especially if you go for a spin, because that just means those rear tires are even worse condition. Like you just add insult to injury. Very loose rear axle car. It's the Audi, very short wheelbase, so when it goes, it's very hard to catch. A bit like I always say, like the Audi is the most like a single seater out of all the GT3s. It's very kind of raw, quick, light, and nippy, but has the reputation of being the hardest to drive for a reason, and that is
He's
coming
in.
into the pits.
Yep, so he's decided that's enough, and he's going to come in, and we'll...
Someone cheeked out on the camera there. Just had to look at the building for a good while.
Well, it's better than looking at this racetrack.
Yes.
To be fair, the facilities around the Indianapolis circuit are quite wonderful. Haven't been there myself, of course, given that it is on the other side of the world. But one day.
Yes, and because I haven't been to any of these tracks other than Bathurst, I can say Bathurst is the best.
Yes. Meanwhile, I haven't been to any of these tracks.
I mean, that's fair when we've really got one of them in close proximity.
Yes.
Although, maybe the April Fool's joke for the Nordschleife on April Fool's, it's not going to be Nordschleife, it's going to be Townsville.
Ah, yes. No.
Surprise, Townsville.
No, it's going to be the Bend or Motorsport Park.
The Bell End, as I call it.
Yes.
Yeah, Simmons points. I was waiting for that one to come from.
I believe
it
there's
would have
some
come from me
racing.
or come from someone's.
I have a feeling there might be some racing on at Simmons Plains this weekend in the Speed Series, I believe.
Yeah, there's Speed Series is on this weekend. I did see YouTube highlights of the TA2s and the sports sedans. I do like those TA2 cars. Can't drive them for hell. Everybody's in, box off box. We've got a greasy track. Woo! It is time, box box. Slow button on.
We go plan B.
Checking. Question.
Chris Cooley has decided to stay out on those wet compound tyres. We'll see how that
Chris
works.
Cooley is a different person to everyone else, to be fair.
Well, yes, he is. But hopefully he doesn't dink donk into a wall.
That's good, I like that.
Just checking where Connor Hind is in all of this. As Tonkin is coming out.
Hill still hasn't come in, and we'll have to serve that 15-second penalty.
Oh dear, Connor.
Oh, Connor. Oh, no.
Trying his best to throw it away. So far as stayed ahead
Come in.
of the 695.
Bless your vets, do you think he'll box? Connor!
Well, Connor is on the dries already, isn't he?
Oh, why that much of an idiot? Yeah, of course he's already boxed. He was just floundering off track. I've forgotten. Oh dear. That's alright.
I forgore.
I forgot. We are memory checking.
There is no memory to check.
I'll have to download more RAM.
Ah, yes. Download more RAM and probably some viruses along with it.
It's okay, I'm Mac software.
Macs don't get viruses.
Yeah.
Oh, Keely's staying out. That is interesting.
Julie's built different.
What is he cooking?
No, he is a Pepe frog, so you know he's amphibian, so wet or dry he can cope with whatever, surely.
Oh,
What was his last time? It's 42 I saw. And we'll see what the dry runners can do. Maybe he's the longer I go, the might have a bit more tires at the end. You know, it's a valid strategy. And dare say, if you want to bring your tires in, it's better to do them on a dry track than a greasy track. Although I think it's going to be greasy for a long time still. That said,
yes. As, we welcome Carlo into the comms box. Hey, Carlo.
Hey, how you doing?
Doing well.
Well, that's certainly one of the things of all time. How's the race going?
Yeah, it's
Very
been going
spicy.
all right. Yeah, we just had some rain come down earlier. It's been about 20 minutes since it stopped. So these drivers have had plenty of time to allow the track to dry, and we're into the last hour of this race with Keely currently leading, but he's still on the wet compound tyres. So our corrected race leader at this stage is Tonkin in the 69 car from John Sneakers, then Connor Hind.
All right, well, that is interesting. I've seen there was quite a moment at the start of the race. What was that all about?
Yes, there was certainly a bit of a kerfuffle at the start of the race. I wasn't around, unfortunately, to witness that one.
ditto.
But
Yes. Few last stoppers. Cooley is now in on Rochford and Slade. We'll see. Interesting to see where Cooley shuffles out in the end of this. Whether he's lost a bit of time. Yeah, I think he was still doing okay out there by those things, and the Aston Martin. But, definitely could have been leading this race for sure if they hadn't for the misfortune of doing an extra stop. Still not rolling yet, and it is, as you said, it's really not pit lane, Alexis. Like, you know, not Spa long, but I dare say probably one of the longest ones out there.
Yes, I'd say it's probably about
It does end early, somewhat early, but still somewhat late.
I think it's about a 50-second time loss just to drive through it. So yeah, it's not a short one.
One's gone round. That's gone behind. He's yellow
behind again.
On the start straight. What has happened?
He's pulled over.
Oh,
Is that some kind of mechanical issue?
hardware issue perhaps?
Yeah, it looks like he's just pulled over to the side of the road. Unfortunately, wasn't quite able to catch what happened on the instant replay, but I would suggest that's some kind of issue. He's just trying to get the car back started again. It seems like he's just having a lot of issues getting things on the way, so that is a really unfortunate issue there for the
car's idling, but just not. Maybe no inputs from his.
Oh,
well,
he's gone.
Nice. He's still there.
Never mind.
Yeah, that car is just deaded.
What? More misfortune for what was the leader. Me and Lexus joined the combox, leading the race, and unfortunately, the wrong stop when it kind of came down in the rain, and then now this is surely a, dare say, going to be a final nail in the coffin for any kind of result for the 171. That was, they were looking good to, kind of claw things back, maybe, we were a bit shaky down the eggs on the last year, and maybe, Connor Hine is a very good operator in us, not saying that he didn't spin on his own volition when we saw him at the end of the previous stint, but may have gone. Unfortunately, that's it. 171 have left the server. Whether they can get back in, whether that's going to be okay with the game's crashed, according to Darty in chat. Oh dear. Oh man. Yep,
that is being confirmed that it was for Connor Hine. The game crashed for him. Oh dear indeed.
I'm surprised to see the car just stopped. The game has crashed like that. It's usually kind of whatever the last input was usually just unfortunately sticks on, but yeah, unfortunately we've lost I believe probably the sole Audi from this race, and
they have rejoined.
Connor Hine has rejoined, so now that in P19, but I dare say he's going to have that 5-minute wait time, isn't he, before he can come back out?
5 minutes? Is that a bit of a Greg Murphy reference?
I don't know what it is. It's the thing usually when you're RTG, but yes, it can be a Greg reference.
The infamous 5-minute wait, 5-minute penalty in the Bathurst 1000 for Greg Murphy.
Where's the nearest port to do?
Yes.
They've got the fastest lap though. But what kind of
they've won fastest lap, but at what cost?
At what cost? Yes.
Just looking at the gaps between Tonkin and Sneakers, it's down to 7.7.
Yes.
We've got a battle in our hands, and I'd say, depending on traffic, I'd say in about half an hour you're probably going to see Tonkin and Sneakers fight it out for the lead here.
Yeah, don't jinx it.
Well, why not? We're commentators after all.
Oh, well, true, but, I've seen some stuff already today.
Yes.
Our intention is meaningless. It's just a somewhat random.
The random chance of the jinx.
It's there on the entry list form, to be willing to be susceptible to commentary errors.
Oh yeah.
Yep. If you enter into an Octane Online Racing series, you are automatically liable for any commentator's curses that befall your fate.
See, Curley has come out behind Tom Maloney, like 5 seconds in P5. Tom is a very quick driver as well, but
567 car has had a very solid race so far.
yeah, but steadily making their way up. In the Porsche, I dare say they might be come under fire from Curley, because we all know what Curley can do when he has all the tools in his repertoire.
As we are at an optimum track now, so that rain is in the past, and from here it is just drive fast.
So it is likely to be dry until the end of the race, so hopefully we don't have any more weather changes, and we just have the drivers push until the end. Should be exciting.
Give us a clean fight all the way through to the end of this race. That would be wonderful to see, as we are about to clock in our 75th lap of this race. So we'll probably get to 100 in this race, given that we haven't quite gotten 3/4 of the way through just yet, and we're about 3/4 of the way there to lap 100. So 100 laps is well and truly on the cards.
Already got an optimum. Surprised to see it transition back. I don't think that even went dry. I think it just went straight to optimum.
Yeah, it went pretty quick to optimum.
I was gonna say I
Yeah,
saw
that's
it
what
earlier
happened.
tonight in a different server. It's very weird.
Yeah, it always happens when it goes wet to dry. It always just skips a few
I think-
states and just goes greasy and
I
then
think it's
optimum.
as long as-
Like it
yeah.
may not feel optimum, but the game says it is.
I think as long as the track was optimal before the rain, I think the case obviously, but earlier days in the race weekend it wouldn't necessarily got the optimum. Depending on also how much rain happens, it's going to say it wasn't the longest of showers in the grand scheme of things to wash the rubber away. So, Curley's kind of closing on Maloney, and Maloney is closing on Pat Oliver as well, who has gotten back ahead of Scani. As you can see, the Audi has rejoined the racetrack. I think I saw the glimpse just then. So they're not going to call it quits, and they're going to still pound around for a result. But unfortunately, that has plummeted them down quite far back. And oh dear, I think I saw that Audi have a red number on its Lumi rank.
Yep.
Which I'm scared to suggest it means it's probably put itself in another entry.
No, it's showing as 171 by the looks of it.
Okay. It's weird because when it's red, that means it's an AM class. Which it isn't. We shall see.
But either way, we've had Connor come into the chat, and that is super unfortunate with the game crash there for you, Connor Hind.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate. There's a bit of trial by fire the second hour of the race for the Audi drivers, but yeah, rest assured, wasn't really anything of your doing.
There you go.
Bobsies in the
So it's showing as pro on the timing board on the left, and AM on the little driver tag on the right.
Yes,
So
working as intended.
So that is just Kunos features. So I can assure you, Mitch Hobbs is certainly not an AM class driver.
He's just an amateur, you know.
See, we
Just
got
a
the
bunch
bronze.
of amateurs in that car. You see, they're only P30.
It's got the bronze tag on the back as well. Good measure.
Oh, fantastic.
Mitch
Kudos
Hobbs, the
features.
bronze.
The bronze. Out front though, Sneakers is now only 5.6 seconds behind Tonkin, so that Lamborghini doesn't have the pace in the dry compared to the McLaren. That's Craigdale. Oh dear, read me. 960 drives through for causing collision on lap 69. That is the opposite of nice.
That is, yeah, not nice. I wonder what happened there.
Some kind of hefty collision, I would suggest. There's been a fair few drive-throughs in this race, so the stewards are coming down hard, which is good to see.
Yeah, never good to support dirty driving, so just give him a penalty and let it be a hefty one.
Make it nice and big.
That's how I like it.
That's a bad. So I was going to say, I'm not too familiar with the Indianapolis track in-game. What is the meta, if you guys know? Is the McLaren kind of the meta car? Although you ask the Sneakers, probably be like, nah, it's terrible.
I don't even own this DLC, so I wouldn't know.
Yeah, no idea, but the last car I drove there was the Aston, and it was pretty good. So I would say the Aston, but I'm obviously wrong.
I'd say it's quite a fairly well-balanced track, but just judging by the looks of that leaderboard, yes, you have a lot of McLarens there, quite a few Porsches, a few Ferraris.
You have a Nissan.
Well, yeah, you've got a couple of Nissans because the Nissan's not too bad, but I think generally the track is actually fairly well-balanced on the big OP side of things, which has generally been the theme across the most recent patch that Kunos have put into the game.
How brave of you.
Yeah, I'd say the BOP is pretty good.
Who would have thought we'd be saying that a few months ago, that the Kunos stock standard BOP was actually kind of reasonable?
Yeah, I think we all get. It's a very, it's an easily worked up topic, to say the least, to put it mildly as possible. But you have to remember, how many tracks we got now? 20, 30 now in the game, and we've got, just in this race, we've got at least 8 different manufacturers, and we somehow have to make sure they're all fair and balanced across all of these tracks.
Yeah,
like, that's a lot
easy.
of cars across a lot of tracks, and dare say the biggest block test is going to be the one coming in 2 weeks, I reckon.
Yes, that when the Nordschleife releases an ACC, that is going to be very interesting to see what happens with the BOP.
I can't wait for my GT. I'm just going to be sit there blocking all the corners on that lovely back, that last sector where everyone loves, and you can't get past because I'm so massively huge, and I'm just going to disappear down the straight.
Well, that's the thing. The Nissan is fast on acceleration, but once you get a little bit further down the straight, it just tops out because the turbo works best at lower revs.
That's the thing, like, it's not actually represented that well, I think, in the game, but in real life, particularly, like, if anyone's watched the N24 more than a few times, stuff like the Mercedes, like, granted, the Mercedes and most of the turbo cars, they kind of, because their engines are more geared for torque and sort of, like, low down power, they, unfortunately, they don't really do that well at the top end. They kind of, they fall off quite a bit on the overall, like, their power curve as someone. Whereas stuff like the Audi and the Porsches, because they can rev so high and they still generate, because they have that higher red line, once they're in the draft, it means they can generally get to a higher top speed that some of the other cars just can't achieve.
Yeah, but if the Porsche isn't in the draft, then it is a sitting duck, as that is a bit of a move there from Hobbsy. There on Padioba. Padioba does not stay ahead, and now look at that. Maloney is right there.
I was gonna say they're ever closing in.
Well, only 1 second back. In fact, some notes from Glenn earlier. Maloney set a 35.9 a few laps ago. That's their fastest lap of this race so far. Paddy Oliver has not been able to get anywhere near the lap times that Tom Maloney's been able to get. So Maloney, that 567 Bin Chicken Racing Porsche, has a buttload of pace.
absolutely. Like some very good drivers as well, and the GTR has done well, especially that one in particular, to come from the back of the grid. But not dare say looking as strong in these conditions in this current configuration. Just going to collect a little bit of grass from the Porsche to keep it flat. Unfortunately, isn't going to make much headway, but GTR isn't pulling too far away either as well, so it's
Through
going to
the
be
corners
tricky.
that the Porsche is going to be so much better, as you can see just coming out of the final corner. And Paddy Oliver just can't quite get the braking, can't quite get the turn in right in this Nissan, and Tom Maloney through this fast
He's
right-hander
on.
is going to dive up the inside. Can he hold it all? Patrick
keeps
Oliver
it
get it on the exit. That's tight.
That's a touch.
Oh,
Nice
and
contact.
that is
think-
contact. I think he needs to get the position back.
Oh, I don't know. I think
That was a close one. One could
Generally,
argue that,
I think
One could
Tom
argue
Maloney should have been given a bit more room there from Paddy Oliver, honestly, because
yeah, true, but one could argue that he just went for a gap that wasn't there, but
They're
I don't know.
alongside on the
It's
exit
gonna
of
be
the
a-
car before,
yeah,
so
that's the thing. Though,
we're gonna
yeah,
leave that one to the stewards. We had a certain camera angle as well. We're gonna have a lot more angles than that. So
yeah.
yeah, not what we like to see. That's kind of decided by that, but it was. I think it was a valid send from the corner before from Maloney. That said, just the difference in cars and grip.
396 picks up a 15-second penalty for causing collision. They're a little bit further back in this one. That's going to be a very contentious discussion for the stewards to decide on a course of action, and I'm sure the drivers post-race will be venting their frustrations.
Yep, and yeah, that was an unfortunate collision we saw there last lap, but doesn't seem to have damaged either cars, so we might still be in for a battle here. Still 40 minutes to go.
Yes, well now Cooley is coming on to the back of Patrick Oliver, and I think Cooley's probably going to be the one that would challenge Maloney the most, although Maloney is very
I think
fast.
just pulled away. So he's kept. I think Cooley made like a second on him, but I think they've been kind of ebbing and flowing back between each other. But now Cooley has got to navigate the Nissan as well. I was going to say, like, you know, it's surprising, like, obviously the Porsche has got good brakes into turn one, but if you get it right in the GTR also has really good brakes for a car of its class as well. And
It's just a shame it's so heavy.
yeah, but it's weird because I feel like it's heavy somewhat, but I think it's also just you have to remember it does carry that extra speed going into the corner, so it has good brakes, but it still has to kind of maybe brake a little bit earlier just because it just carries more speed as well. But it is a little cumbersome beast, as we unfortunately have a McLaren there on the right. Thankfully offline, no interruptions for that one.
Yeah, what I wanted to say is the Nissan it has really good brakes, and it doesn't really affect it because of its weight. Just because it's got such good braking performance, and you don't really need to brake earlier, but maybe if you are on the beginning of your stint, then it's probably a good idea to do so.
Well, while we've been discussing that, here is Cooley just 8 tenths behind the Nissan of Patrick Oliver now, and Pat will have a lot of defending to do here. Of course, earlier had that little bit of collision with Maloney, although not sure what will happen with that one, but either way, now has to do it all over again, this time with a very fast Aston Martin of Chris Cooley.
Yeah, I don't think that is going to be a big fight considering the pace difference there, but let's wait and see.
Pat's just trying to take a few different lines as interesting. John Sneakers is in the pits.
Oh, well, that is certainly interesting.
I thought I could go to the end, but I wonder if maybe Peach has a bit more driving time to do or something.
Yep, sounds like Peach has to do some more driving time.
We saw John basically, he did the whole wet stint, took over from Peach. I wonder if there's going to be any more of that come the end of the race, because ideally, you know, if they didn't have to do that, they could just go to the end.
There's Chris Cooley up the inside. That is a send and a half. That's way too deep.
That's not stopping.
Oh, and that is off track onto the grass, and
Very optimistic
well,
there.
try again next time.
Way too optimistic from Chris Cooley, unfortunately. But he'll have plenty of opportunities. I mean, that Aston Martin is a lot quicker than this, but can't really afford to do many of those if he wants to try and hold close to Tom Maloney.
So it says,
Yeah, exactly.
great for Tom Maloney. So they're like, Tom's in second now, but now as Saniga's gone, it's a big gap to Tonkin. Tonkin's got a huge gap over Maloney. So
Yeah, but,
with Saniga's gone, they can afford to relax a bit, because they're not even the same sector yet.
It's just the main question lies in the driver time.
Yeah, that is what I was gonna say, because Sonic is speeded because of assumingly driving time, but I think that maybe even Tonkin will have to pit, so we're...
Yeah, I don't know, because the other driver in that 69 car stayed out from the start of the race until that rain came, sort of about hour and 20 minutes in.
Yeah, I mean...
Not sure.
Yeah, it's gonna be close. Have to wait and see what happens with the 69 until the end.
And Bolt further back, also coming into the pits, as Akiui's already got right onto the back of the Nissan once again.
Caught up so much sooner than I expected.
Paddy Oliver just can't find the time in that Nissan. Seems to be really struggling now. Akiui, is he going to dive up the inside here or no?
Ooh.
Paddy Oliver
He had a
closed
look.
that door.
I think
Yeah,
he needs
he
to
had
do
a
a
look,
psych out
Yep.
that we saw Connor do earlier in the race. And, you know, I think no discredit to Pat Oliver, but he is swimming with the Sharks now at this end of the field.
Well and truly, that is a little bit wide from Chris Cooley. That won't be doing his run down towards turn 8 any good. So he'll have to hold off for now. Yeah, I think you're right. He has to try a bit of a psych out move similar to what Connor Hine did earlier on. But Pat Aston Martin just seems to struggle going through these fast flowing corners, these long corners compared to the Nissan. Just a little bit too far back on this occasion to really psych Pat Oliver out.
So it's a slight, like, Pat Oliver, I think
that's
it's
a
made
curb.
Oh, he's got a bit of a run towards turn 1 maybe?
No, because he's
Yeah, I
his exit out of
Yeah, that's-
It's going to have a cleaner line though coming onto this, because Pat Oliver was a bit tight on the entry, but he's got the power to stay ahead at least.
I think that hitting the curb on the inside of 13 for Cooley probably just meant that he drifted a little bit too wide of where he wanted to be going through 14 and 15.
Since Pat Oliver's mainly losing time, I think just from it's the start. The corner is all about the braking. To be honest, it's where you start and it dictates the rest of the corner and the whole entry through it. And not saying that it's happened every corner, but we've seen a few times like you just kind of a little bit wide on the entry, come into the turn 1, and particularly that awkward corner, you know, just before the banking in the last sector.
And he's taking a few different lines to what Cooley is, but so far he's been able to use that the straight line acceleration advantage of that Nissan to stay ahead. That'll be frustrating Cooley.
I mean, Cooley knows that he'll probably get past this car eventually. If anything, because one, the GTR, you know, I've got to look forward to it tomorrow, but over a full stint, it's not very easy on tyres. You pretty much use every bit of mechanical grip to make up your time in this car, because you don't have much error to play with.
Yeah, exactly.
A
And
slight scrub on the end.
I think if Cooley gets a good exit here, he might have a run, but Doesn't look like it.
Oh,
Or never mind. He's
Oh,
got
man, have
the
a little
sixes
look.
so far,
out
but
onto the
goes
grass, nearly
wide.
into the wall. Nearly into the wall
Oh.
there for QE. He got onto the grass, just drifting wide in the dirty air, and that will be the biggest thing preventing him from getting the run onto this front straight, is that dirty air from the Nissan in front.
Yep. And this is very close here.
Oh dear!
Please.
Oh yeah, that is
never,
uncanny.
that gap was never open. That
That
gap
is uncanny. He was
never, ever
completely
open.
off the track.
Yeah. It's just, yeah. That might even get reported, let's say, from AVR.
I think when you're comparing that to the Maloney incident, there was already a bit of side-by-side beforehand. With that one there, that gap was always going to close, and there was no prior side-by-side. So I think
I was
Yeah.
gonna say
exactly.
the overlap was minuscule in comparison to
Yeah.
the previous incident as well. Like you're not entitled when you're only your light like alongside your car, the competitor's car. Oh, and he's
Oh,
completely-
and there goes Cooley off the track, and
QE is human after all.
that is
Hey.
really odd.
And
see
I
purely.
have a feeling that will be a bit of a track limits warning there for QE, so he's got to be careful.
yep.
He kept a reasonable gap to Oliver in front going off the track
yeah,
there.
he kept his foot in throughout the grass, so yeah.
He has to be really
And
careful.
He's gone wide again, and
This is the
we have a spun
Worst.
out car on the exit here.
most under pressure I have seen Chris Cooley for a very, very, very long time.
Well, Maloney's had an incident. He's only just up ahead of this car. He was the yellow flag. He's 5, 6, 7.
Oh, he was the yellow flag. Oh my god, you are right. He's only a
just in
second
front.
ahead now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder what's happened there.
Yeah, because the gap was about 10 seconds before. Now it's all the way down to 1.3.
So we might have a three-way battle here for the podium. Oh, sorry, for P2.
Yeah, like I've never seen this from Cooley, I will say. I don't know if it's
Yeah.
just him kind of driving a bit hangry, or it's just
Oh,
frustration.
and that was a bit wide too. This is very un-Chris Cooley like.
I think I have actually seen Chris Cooley driving like this before, and it was during one of the Pro Series races during last year. I think it was Paul Ricard, maybe, where he got really frustrated about something, and then he just threw his car into the wall at the end of the race.
It
But-
just seems to be a mentality thing of sorts. Unfortunately, in this situation, yeah, Chris Cooley's getting a bit frustrated now, and is struggling to sort of keep himself focused, and that's the key thing when you get into these battles. If it's a tough battle, you have to
He's-
be focused. You have to be aware of what's going on. As that's a little bit wide from Paddy Oliver. That might help Cooley a bit here, but again, that
Yep, he's
dirty
got
air
a
is
run.
not going to help. Oh, but he's managed to
He's got a bit of a run there.
and he's going to dive down the inside at turn
I
one.
do
No
not think
questions
it's going to be
asked
close
below.
enough.
Paddy Oliver is defending. What's Cooley going to do? He's going to try and go around the outside, get the inside line for turn
Oh.
2, but he's
He's
gone.
round.
Has he
And
gone
it
deep? No,
is
he's kept it.
wide.
It's in the limits. And Paddy Oliver
Still
now
not
has the
done.
inside line. And is he going to hold on to it? I think he is. Chris Cooley is going to try a little bit of switch. Oh, and he's
Hey,
run
that
off
is
the road.
a Cooley, I think, again.
Yeah,
Oh,
just clip the left rear corner, got him off the road, and I have a feeling that could be a penalty coming Chris Cooley's way. Unless, no, he's progressed. Okay, that's fine.
yeah, that was a very close battle, and still, nothing comes out of it for Chris Cooley.
Cooley is trying to get another run here on Oliver as Tonkin is into the pits. So I think, yes, the driver timer is going to be crucial to this race.
Yeah, I just also got to confirm from Peach himself if it was, because the driver timed it there at the pit again. 14 also in the pits as well. Posension, Carl Johnson 10-second penalty for 52 for dangerous driving on lap 84. It's not what we like to see. So I'm not sure what car 84 is on the. It's definitely not in the top 23. I can tell you that. So here we go again, and let's just say this Peach in his stream, second to fourth for imploding right now. So anything's possible, and especially with the leader pitting. Oh, it's still in there. He's still alongside. There's a bit of bump and rub. There was room given. It dare say might be done, but he's redressed it.
Yeah, interesting.
Interesting. I don't think that was him just kind of going wide there. That was, oh my goodness.
Honestly, I think that one probably didn't need redressing. I think that one was a little bit more legitimate.
I think that was hard but fair.
Yeah.
He didn't run him out. He didn't run him completely off the track. He rubbed him a bit, but I don't think you didn't see the GTR get like unsettled or anything like that from it as well. Like, to be honest.
Yeah, no, it just seemed like it didn't seem like malicious or anything. But
and we have seen that sort of outside move which leads to the inside because he got that weird. That's not on though.
No, and that is off the track, so Cooley has to blend out of this one.
It seems like an interesting battle here with Chris Cooley trying to get past Pat Oliver, but nothing he has done so far has worked, or at least nothing he's done so far he hasn't redressed back, so...
Pick up Scotty in Pete and in the other GTR. I was going to say, Tom Maloney's already built up his 10-second gap again, just from these two battling.
This is Cooley's best opportunity yet, and he's going to try and go around the outside into turn one again. And this time he brakes late. Does he keep it on? No. Paddy Oliver comes back at him, and he's going to try and hold around the outside again, which again turns into the inside line. And I think Paddy Oliver is in a much better position to hold on to this one. If he brakes, okay, but Cooley gets a little bit of a switchback, but it's not going to be enough. Paddy Oliver somehow still defends that position, and Cooley gets a little bit loose on the curb there, just that unlucky bounce, and this will be frustrating the hell out of Cooley.
It's been a really good defensive drive from Paddy Oliver. He hasn't had the speed or anything to really kind of, that's not something you can really use against Cooley. Speed in the right places with the GTR somewhat, but he's done everything he can do really, and very wide again into these deep heavy braking zones. Unfortunately, it's the wrong place at the wrong time for Cooley. Can't really do much from there. He's going to optimize and try and get
he's
a
off the line.
run. And he might be it. He needs to keep that nose. He needs to get there first. He tries to cut him off, but it's not there. No!
Hey!
Oh, dear.
That is... That is very unfortunate there, but I think the Nissan
There wasn't much
turned
overlap.
in.
There wasn't much
I think the
overlap, but I
Nissan
think that
turned
some
in.
space should have been allowed for. Oh, we're gonna leave that with the stewards. More controversy, more decisiveness between now and the end. Anyone. Herbert's gonna be lapping his chops. He's 5 seconds behind now, and I think there's gonna be some decent damage on Paddy Oliver's car. Sorry, Herbert is now ahead, but.
That was very, very unfortunate there, but...
There's that air of inevitability. A 695 of Brad Cook, I think, has got around the yellow flag. Hopefully nothing more to it from that.
Meanwhile, while all of that was happening, 191 has managed to get the undercut on the 69 by about 11 seconds, if you don't mind.
I was going to say, like, they got Peach in the car now, and, they're both quick, both of the brothers, but I think Peach has that little bit, in his hand as well. Like, to be fair, we saw how quick they were going. They were already closing in on Tonkin by quite rapidly, to be honest. Definitely quicker in the dry than they were wet for the Sneakers McLaren. So they're in good standing, seeing what the rest of the top four can do, and especially with all the infighting that has happened. Tom Maloney's spin or whatever happened that we unfortunately didn't catch coming onto the back straight, but he had his own. He should have an extra 10 seconds in his pocket, but he doesn't have it currently. So Herbert negotiates lap McLaren, and is right on the back of Cooley as well. So if there's a penalty coming for Curley, then Herbert's looking good to secure his place on the podium, whether that's the middle step, the bottom step, or top step's not out of reach.
Yeah, well, we'll see what happens with the pit stops and the driver times, because I really don't know what the situation is for this top 4 in terms of driver time. I think the 818 is probably the most secure in terms of driver time, because you had Pinata go for much longer into the rain than a lot of the other cars. So he's probably the safest in terms of driver time is Paddy Oliver.
Yep, true, and Tom Maloney must be cutting it very close in terms of driving time. We just over 20 minutes to go. I think there might be another pit stop coming.
As Forrester in the number 16 picks up a 10-second penalty.
And so I know Herbert's got quite some damage on the back of his Porsche, and I don't know if that's just Kuna's spectator bugs or anything like that, but won't be helping his pace, given the amount of damages I'm seeing, especially on just one part of the car, which won't help the aero balance somewhat, as well as all of this traffic just never ending. Oh no, and he's hit the McLaren, the lapped car, and that might spell disaster for the 17. There's now damage on the front of it, so well done, you've equaled it out, but unfortunately that's not going to help you in the slightest bit in the grand scheme, because I think that's going to be a surefire slam dunk penalty.
Yep. Well, for one thing, that McLaren probably should have stayed out of the way after letting Keeley pass to let Herbert past, and 2, Herbert just broke too late into the back, unfortunately, so a bit of an invoice coming for that one, but yeah, that's just a bit unfortunate all around.
A very unfortunate day for the number 17, but they're still in P3, and you know, they might be able to build a gap to overcome the penalty that they might get in the next 20 minutes.
Yeah, who knows? Who knows?
Well, there's right there, you know, big trial by fire for the Nissan GTR, but you know, if people get penalties, then they could stay on the podium, although 191 is not that far behind, I will say. I dare say the 191 would have taken probably a fresh set of tyres with having to do that driver change, so they're surely going to be coming at a rate of knots.
Well, yeah, catching is one thing, overtaking is another, as we saw earlier. Chris Keeley, despite being so much faster than Paddy Oliver, just could not get past for the life of him.
True. But then again, yeah, it's true. But gonna be, those tyres are only gonna get worse and worse in the GTR, and he wasn't really looking after them in the first place with having to do all the defending he was. So, yeah, granted, he can just stick it on the every apex and just demonstrate. But as I found the other night, unfortunately, I had to take a set of dries, 48 minutes in a 2 mandatory tyre stop race, 1 hour race, so I was pretty much sitting duck by the end of it.
Just looking at the gap, it is down to 13 seconds. Page seems to be a fair bit faster than Oliver, but let's see how quick he's able to actually catch.
All the traffic as well.
Yeah, Page actually is the fastest on track currently the last lap, and oh, we just had somebody spin and disconnect.
There's 297.
And another car going slowly.
There's 297, but I couldn't see where they were on the time board, so I mean, they were a bit further down, but a bit odd.
Unfortunate.
19 minutes to go. I wonder if Connor Hines, so Mitch Hobbs is still out there in the Audi circling away, trying to recover
that
something.
171 is still out on track. They just crossed the line.
Yeah, in
Up
24.
to 24, wow. Big recovery drive from them. They were down in, what, P30 or something before.
Yeah, and yeah, well, 14 seconds, and the car has a 10-second penalty, so yeah, P23 looking possible for Hobbsy there.
Well, JP is gaining by about 2 seconds a lap on Paddy Oliver.
Yeah, I was going to say there's only 18 minutes left, but I think we'll see him catch him.
Yeah.
As Pat Oliver, I'm not sure if he's even really catching the lapped car of Scani right now.
Well, again, that car probably has a bit of damage from that incident before, so won't make things any easier.
Had a rear clonk and then a left clonk. If this was BeamNG, you would have no steering or anything like that, because that's all it takes in real life. Yeah. But thankfully, they make them strong in ACC.
Yes. Extra strong.
Imagine having to drive with a bent steering arm. In an Enduro as well.
That would be suboptimal.
Yes.
Just slightly, I would say.
Yeah. You know, just gotta hold the wheel at an angle. That's a big deal.
Oh, Deering and Herbert off the track. Manages to keep things going for the moment, but that will bring Paddy over even closer.
The track has been cooling down a bit. It's down to 21 now as we're getting late in the day. The sun's getting lower. Touching 6 p.m. surely by the end of this race. Might be helping some cars, might be hindering others. What kind of pressures that people have going forward? It's getting very dark, like especially on the start finish straight with all the seating covering most of the track. So indeed, come down turn 1. I don't like how. I don't really like how tight they've made turn 1, to be honest. It's weird. It's kind of like been a lot more open, and now it's considered quite tight. Everyone's really pushing out there, lots of touching on the grass and stuff like that.
Yes, as we are looking at the 277 car. I was caught up in the incident earlier with Patrick Oliver, which at the moment is penalty free and sitting in P2. Again, not sure what the driver time is like for this car, but out front, Tom Maloney, if he doesn't need a pit again, should be able to cruise home to a win. That's a big if.
That is true, but still, 16 minutes left, and as I said 5 minutes ago, we don't know. Oh, and there he goes in the pit lane. Well, that answers our questions. So that means Chris Keeley will be our leader.
If Keeley doesn't need to come into the pits as well. Again, I think Paddy Oliver might be the only one of the top 4 who doesn't need to come into the pits again. That could explain why the 818 stayed out for as long as it did when the rain started.
Yep, and I think definitely the number 17 has to come in, but then, yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
Well, certainly turn this race on its head. That makes that battle between Oliver and Sneakers all the more important.
Yep.
We'll keep an eye on what Chris Keeley does out front now.
Yeah, I think if he needs to pit, he'll probably do it within the next 10 minutes, so yeah, gonna be interesting.
Yes, well, you wouldn't want to leave it until the last few minutes.
Yep.
Because you'd want to at least get some sort of effect on the tyres going. If they need to come in to do some more driver time, they'll pit this or next lap.
Oh, that's a nice drift.
Big slide, purely. Only 14 minutes to take those tyres on, but don't want to do that too often. It's, especially if Peach manages to clear a few cars, because once he clears Oliver, he's only got 3 seconds to Herbert, and then another 3 seconds to Keeley. It's not insurmountable for Sneakers, but now that they've all spaced out a bit, I think not making the headway that he was making before, to say the least.
Well, what that has done is, if the top three theoretically do have to come into the pits again, that puts the 599 of Callum Gibbons into a podium position.
Yeah.
As there it is,
Oh,
Chris
and
Keeley,
Chris
a
Keeley.
15-second penalty for causing that collision with Patrick Oliver on lap 89. It was coming. It was coming.
I was entirely convinced that entire time that that was the Nissan's fault, but I am wrong. So
Yeah, it's
Chris
like-
Keeley with a 15-second penalty with just 13 minutes to go in the race. I do not think that he is even going to be on the podium here with
It was a
Seneca
tricky
catching up.
one with that incident because I, to be honest, I do agree with like the penalty was I think warranted because Keeley didn't have the gap. But I feel like it was also just like I don't know, self-preservation. Felt like Oliver probably could have not maybe closed in that much, but you know I guess that's
The gap
how
wasn't there.
the gap wasn't there either though. But there was unfortunately, yeah. I think I just. You know, ultimately, I think it works out in Oliver's hand because he actually didn't lose a lot of time. Granted, he's got the damage, but it hasn't really stopped him too much. Not that this thing makes any error anyway. But,
Yeah, it's basically a brick with wheels and a powerful engine.
see, now appearing on the time board as he's come on to P23, still got the fastest lap. See, Pat Oliver definitely closed in a bit on that lap as well, but Sneakers has taken a 2.3 seconds in that last lap out of him as well. So time's running out, but he is like closing in so quickly as well. He's got cars to negotiate still as well. It's gonna be really close.
Frankly, I do not think there's going to be a big battle between Denisa and JP there because, yeah, the pace difference is just so huge. It's not even close to what the pace difference was between Curly and the Nissan. So, yeah, I think unfortunately that the Nissan is probably not going to fight too much, but who knows?
I wonder if the incident has been reviewed between this car and the also lap car where there was contact, and I dare say it didn't happen that long after the Keeley incident. So if that's going to come up, it's probably going to come up somewhat soon, because that's also going to decide sort of the fate of the podium. Granted, these cars with penalties, you know, if they are going to the end, they're not obliged to get out of the way, even though they're going to fall behind whatever car's trying to attack them. It's still not going to make it easy for you.
As we've now just notched in 100 laps.
Oh yeah, true.
Centenary of laps. And then here at the Brickyards, been very spicy with the rain and the subsequent sort of shuffle up and down the grid has happened. Yeah, I haven't seen this many lead changes in a long time in an enduro race, but that way.
Certainly been one of the more exciting enduro races we've had here at Octane Online Racing.
So we run through the other there's sort of the categories, the classes. Obviously Curly currently leading pro class, but with a 15-second penalty right now, and who knows who's going to win pro class right now. It's all on the air. Scott Rochford with a 20-second lead over Scanlon in P8 for the silver class, doing a very good job in the 991. Scarney also doing another excellent job in the GTR, arguably probably, you know, just as quick currently on track as the other GTR, but obviously a little bit more to that story. Yeah, but leading up Pro-Am class ahead of Costa in P12, and not sure who's leading our AM class right now, but I'm sure we'll get to that one. But still all to play for, less than 10 minutes, probably less than about just about 4 or 5 laps till the end now. Who is going to win this?
Yep, and we just found out that the classes you read out are not accurate, so
Oh, fantastic.
yeah, that goes out of the window. I bet
Yeah, like
that
most
M class
mods,
is. I bet that M class is being won by Mitch Hobbs currently.
yeah, I don't think that one's right. Put it that way. But he's still showing as pro in the thing, but I saw Fercolini was in the AM car, which he's not an AM driver, that's for sure.
Now, on track, Oliver and Sneakers are line astern.
1 second. Oh, this is it.
That's
Sneakers.
close.
Just gotta get this car and then get Herbert, but times are ticking. It's looking really good for Herbert, you have to admit.
Yeah.
Didn't think I'd be saying I knew they were on a good charge, but I didn't know they're going to be in the prime position to win. But do they have a penalty still coming? I don't know. Has that been settled already?
Not too sure, actually.
We're gonna find out, I guess, and well, the 818 has now has a JP on his back, and I don't think it's gonna be an easy job to defend from him. Actually, I might even go as far as saying that JP might try moving to turn 1 this lap, or next lap.
What his run is like out of this final corner, and he's wide, so not onto the grass. That won't be possible for JP now. Well, if he does it, he needs to blend out of the throttle anyways, because he went on the track.
Oh yeah, true.
Don't think you're allowed to take the advantage of the of going off the track and gaining more speed as a result.
Yep, very true there, Alexi. And well, the gap is just about 3/10 now. It was a second starting the last lap, so 7/10 in this lap, and very close there, JP.
It's these corners that are going to be killing the Nissan.
Bit of a slide on entry for the GTR, but it's going to add another slide as well, which is going to hurt the exit. That's everything for the GTR, as the TC would have kicked in, so it's going to be even closer for this final sector. That said, though, yeah, like all these, like Sneakers, they're still in the blanket window for that 15-second penalty for Hewley, so they're technically P3 right now, unless this battle costs them a huge amount of time.
Here is where JP might be able to make the move. Just the dummy up the inside of the final corner. Will that scare Paddy Oliver a little bit? Paddy Oliver has gone a little bit deep, but has managed to hold off for now.
Oh, it's even
but he's
deeper.
Wide again.
Oh, he's wide here.
It's going to be tight entry.
Yeah,
switch back and a slide.
Oh yeah.
And that should be JP through. My lord.
Ooh, that was very close with that lap's car there. I don't know who that was, but
That'll be the number 90 Sofa King pink car, Vintner.
That was so close to them. Like even between Sneakers and Avia, the Pat Oliver, as they kind of switched from left to right, it looked like there was not much in it between them. As JP is going to be on it. 5 minutes to 4.7 seconds. That's a big ask, but he does have the fresher tires and the fresher rubber. He hasn't lost too much time in the grand scheme of things getting past Pat Oliver, and we have seen, like, Herbert doesn't look that stupid composed on track as well. We've seen him go on the grass a little bit a few times, coming up to Scani in the GTR. I'm sure Scani will dutifully get out of the way, but never say never, and it's going to be everything to play for at this last.
well, it's already 4.2 seconds. So 5/10 in just about half a lap there for JP, and 3.8 seconds. So yeah, that's a second there.
But look at how much time there is left. And I think given how long we've been waiting, I think Herbert may have actually gotten away with that contact with the back marker.
Yeah.
So maybe there was a little bit more to it that meant that Herbert wasn't as much involved as we
thought.
thought.
At the end, didn't we?
Yes. So maybe there was a bit more to it.
Absolutely.
Going to be very, very tight though. 3.3 seconds now. We've only got 3.5 minutes to go in this one, so there'll probably be about 3 more laps.
I think we'll get him down to 2 seconds at the end of this lap.
It's going to be on the last lap.
I was gonna say, and if Curly crosses the line for that very last lap and have to go around again, then I am
Car
looking forward to
52.
it.
Another penalty there. So what's that going to be? 35 seconds of penalties so far. Or
Yeah, just a few penalties for that 52 car.
yeah.
See, he's right there. Doesn't have to look far. Down to 2.6 at the last sector line.
Oh, and then
Oh.
right, Carl. Oh my, Carl, please, Carl.
That's a DT and 35 seconds, because that 35 seconds won't go away.
Oh Christ.
So
That is,
Curly is about to cross the line. He is
That'll
going
be
to.
one more lap and another one. And Herbert's in. He's in.
Herbert is in. Driver time.
Oh.
So Herbert
you've been
in on
robbed.
the last lap, or second to last lap. Wow. That's
So
unfortunate.
there goes your last lap finish. That's going to be a win for Jumpier Sneakers, and if that 818 Nissan stays where it is, it will be P2.
Yep.
Really curious how much time that's their stint time it must have been for them to pull it that late, but also for the 818 as well. Like they must be right on it, because like, to be honest, I guess we did see. We saw, I think it was Pignata's the other
Yes,
driver in that
Pinata
car.
went longer. Oh, Vintner,
Oh.
Vintner.
There's
That's
the move.
unlocking himself.
Done. Yep. It's entitled to do so, fairly and cleanly.
Yep. But yes, Pinata was one of the drivers who waited a bit longer to come into the pits when the rain started. So that was most likely to cover for that driver stint.
That's it. Pignata had nothing to do that. Sorry, Vintner has a very good reason to do that, because he's 1.2 seconds behind Scani, which is that GTR just there up the road. And he was stuck behind Pat Oliver for a long time there, so that was really frustrating. So he's now got this one lap to make it happen. Yeah, he's got some real speed. We know how quick Ben Vintner is, and he's already closing up. Well, he's gone very deep though. That's in that corner. As cameraman is.
Oh, Q, he's
Oh.
trying to come into the pits and he spun.
He's hit the wall. There's massive front damage.
Oh,
Oh my goodness.
yeah.
That
Oh,
is,
and the number 17 has to stop go 30.
Oh.
oh, that was
That'll be for
tragic.
speeding. But it's all falling apart for our leaders.
What
and
happened there with Curly?
The Lamborghini of the 69 car is gonna return to the podium at this rate. Gibbo will move up into P4, and it's looking good for Pat Oliver. I think after everything that he was going
I think
through,
Curly doesn't have fuel. I think Curly doesn't have fuel to
Yeah, he's out of
to
fuel.
the pit box.
He's out of fuel.
Oh my
maybe
god.
that spin would have been just enough to stop.
Yeah. Oh,
Is that Maloney in
dear.
again?
What? Okay, that's interesting.
They're just
What?
trying to confuse us.
What's going on?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, but I think one thing is for sure, and that is JP winning this race. So
Let's start.
Congratulations.
This is the last lap. Vintner's right. Oh goodness, as the lap car comes to give him a last
Ooh.
right for the, on the last lap. Ben Vintner's trying everything to get past Scani. Tries around the outside but doesn't get it to work. But here comes Jean-Pierre Sneakers. Him and his brother John, excellent drive, and are gonna take out this race win. Who would have thought come 20 minutes ago when they were down in P5? Pat Oliver, a stout defense for the whole race, pretty much, or the whole second half of that race, and 69 of Paulie and Tonkin come home for P3. Could have been maybe a win on the cards, but I think it's an exceptional result regardless. Gibbo.
Callum Gibbons here in P4 from I do not know which position, but they were not P4 20 minutes ago, so well done to them, and that's the finish. Followed by Rushford and Fleming, who has a stop and go 30, so that might be a position drop for Fleming there.
Well, the funny thing is, because Bab didn't start the final lap, he ended up crossing the line after Sneakers finished. So Fleming won't actually drop any positions as a result of that stop-go 30.
Same for Curly as well.
Oh,
That's weird. Although he technically hasn't finished, according to the thing. I don't know. He's still circling around. He's about to come over the line now. So that SG30 should translate into a 120-second penalty.
Yes, but because he finished an extra lap over the top of Bab, Scanlon, and Curley, there won't actually be any change in position.
yeah, true. And wow, okay, that was quite an exciting last 20 minutes or so.
E5 for Rochford in the end there. Silver class car. That's
The 991 kept things super clean.
And we have some nice downers there.
Oh yeah, Darty saying that they were 1 lap short in stint time in car 17. Oh dear. They were so close. They were so close
That's
to being able to
tragic.
win it.
Car 17. Oh yeah, the Herbert car, yeah. Oh dear.
1 lap short.
And then he got an
Heartbreaking.
SG30 on the last lap as well. Just not that it seems to have done anything.
Yeah, no, it
We will
won't
see
do
the
anything.
finalized results at the end of the screen though, because I think they're all a bit with people leaving the server. As Carl Johnson technically hasn't finished, but who knows with this game, frankly.
Yes, he is showing it. He hasn't officially crossed the line to finish this race.
What a barnstorming ending! Like we really couldn't have predicted it, and like what a drive from Sneakers. Like he didn't do it on the track, he didn't need to in the end, but he was closing in at such a rate of knots. I dare say he would have been definitely putting a move on him on those last laps.
I mean, he did kind of do it on track, because if he hadn't have gotten past Paddy Oliver, it would have been Paddy Oliver in the 818 entry winning this race.
Let me see some not some great chat in the overall. I think everyone needs to settle down and turn their keyboards off and walk away for a bit. We're just waiting to get our official results up, as waiting for the server to do its thing.
Come on, do the thing.
There we go. Jump
Have to
into
give it, hit the monitor a few times.
So we had Bo Sanikai winning in the 191 Kovacs entry from Paddy Oliver and Matthew Pinata in the 818 Alpha Venturi Nissan, then Paulie and Tonkin in the Aperture Labs 69 car Lamborghini, then Gibbons and Wellerburn in the Pixel Racers 599, and then Rochford Maddox 991. Kovacs your top 5 there, and they were your silver class winners as well. And we had the 17 Porsche Fleming and Herbert, the 567 Porsche of Bab and Maloney, the 179 Aston Martin of Scanlon and Blair, the 23 Nissan of Scarney and Crick, and the number 90 Porsche of Vintner and Hill, rounding out your top 10. Well,
Emo crossed the line with 5 seconds left in his stint time.
oh my god, that's cutting it fine. That is really cutting it fine. Well, that will just about do that for us tonight here for the Octane Online Racing USA Duo Series here at Indianapolis. What a fantastic race we had there tonight.
Yeah, absolutely
Yep,
great.
I do agree.
Join us again for the round 3 on our American World Tour, and as well as next week for our Simric Sprint Series finale, as well as we wind ourselves up for the release of the Nordschleife in the next few weeks. But thank you for joining us, Alexis and Glenn, and of course Carlo as well. Everyone else who's put it together, we much appreciate you, and we'll leave it there for tonight. Good night.